Gotta bring myself on stage. Hello, everyone. It's community members panel night, and I'm sitting in the dark, and I don't even care because it's Monday, and it's an informal type of thing, I guess. Um, yeah, we're just hanging out. There's I think these are good to do. Well, one to sort of, and it's great to give back to the community. Obviously, it's good to just hang out and not feel all stuffy, like, oh, we got to do this thing right now. Talk about this stuff and talk about the most rage baity shit you can. You can just relax, talk about cool things. Tim Hayes is a brand new member. He's in the back. We're hiding him in the back right now, but he's here. Thank you, Tim, for your membership. Real Wade Nation Clips. Hey, what's going on, brother? And King Deplorables in the house. What's going on, man? Tim said, don't know if I can become a member, but love to chat. Hope you all have other topics besides the upcoming election. Life's getting too depressing otherwise. Yeah. Yeah, the election stuff is a bit much. Let's bring Tim up. Let's bring him up here. Tim's here, really close to his camera.
Hello.
How's it going, man?
Good. My mom's in the background watching TV since I'm in the living room.
Nice. Hi, Mom. No, man, how you been? How you doing?
Pretty good. It's just I'm in Modesto, California, so we've had a heat wave here for a while. It was just, I think Friday and Saturday it finally cooled down. I was able to go outside in the afternoon and actually cut my lawns during the daytime on a Friday and a Saturday. Well, Saturday night, I think I did it right before it got dark, but we were getting like triple-digit weather.
That's how it's been for us. Well, Utah summer is like, that's just how it is. Basically, July and the first part of August are basically 100-degree days for the most part. This past weekend, though, we got some weather. We got some rain. It was really nice. We were out camping, but it rained, so that was nice. My lawn is a big fan of rain since it's always so dry out here.
Yeah, well, my mom's been watering the lawns, so the lawns had been dying a little bit, but then she started watering them, and now they're coming back to life.
Yeah. Well, we got Arkasol's in the chat. What's going on, Ark? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. So Isaac, so you had requested not. Well, you said, is there anything else to talk about besides the election? Here's an interesting thing I saw from Stuttering Craig, and I thought this is perfect to lead off with because I think it's the hardest question to answer right this minute. So you only get to pick two, and the rest are wiped from your memory. I don't know if you remember any of these, Tim, any of these movies.
But The Sandlot I watched because my dad rented that one.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard of Air Bud, and I've heard of Angels in the Outfield, and I've heard of the Mighty Ducks, and I've heard of Cool Runnings, but yeah, I think
You haven't seen them?
I think my dad might have rented some of these movies when he was alive.
These, I think, are some of the very classic Disney kid movies out there. So the fact that I had to choose two and the rest, because I think I've seen all of these. I don't think I've seen Air Bud, actually, now that I'm thinking of it. I think Air Bud's the only one.
Yeah, I just remember seeing TV commercials for that when that first came out.
I would say, because see, Iron Will is such a good movie. Yeah, Sandlot definitely stays. I would say Sandlot stays.
Yeah, Iron Will I'm not familiar with, but Sandlot was one we had seen a number of times. And Angels in the Outfield might have been on TV. It was either on TV, cable, or we had a VHS tape of it on rental.
Yep. Yeah, I'm trying to think of what's a close second here. If it's Mighty Ducks is a classic. Angels in the Outfield really is a classic. If you haven't seen it, you should do your best to try and find a copy of it.
Isn't that like a remake of an old black and white 50s movie?
Yep. And I've
So I
never.
know Joseph Gordon-Levitt was in that version.
Yeah, yeah. He played him and this other and the other little boy are like they're in like foster care, and they're big fans of the Angels, and their Angels are terrible. And like the dad basically says, because the dad like they're going to like a custody hearing, and he's like, "Yeah, we'll be together once the Angels win the pennant." And the kid goes home and like prays that they win the pennant,
Mhm.
and Christopher Lloyd, like one of the Angels, comes down and starts helping the Angels win games.
Mhm.
And it's kind of sad because they start winning and then they go to another hearing and he's like, Dad, the Angels are going to win the pennant. This is awesome. And the dad just like walks out. And it was just like, wow, that's some trauma right there. um, but it was such a good movie in general. Uh, Sandlot, it might be Sandlot and Mighty Ducks for me. I don't know. It's a hard pick. Iron Will's good too. I can't remember the total premise, but basically it's about dog sled racing. And he is trying to win a race, and I don't remember what it's for, but it's probably to win some money to support his family or something. But it's like one of the most challenging like races ever, and he's very green, like he doesn't know how to do it really, and he ends up like really digging deep and going, because it's like it's in the north, it's all in the snow, it's like in the Arctic basically. Another really good one though, if you haven't seen it, I think it's good for adults, good for kids. So good. Heavyweights is another good one. Heavyweights is another good comedy.
I'm not familiar with that one.
Oh, this is good. This is a really good one.
But I know there were two Air Bud movies, and there were 2 or 3 Mighty Ducks movies, and then there was a Sandlot, and then I think there was a Sandlot 2 that went straight to DVD.
There's actually, I think, 3 Sandlot movies. And I think there's like 6 Air Bud movies. And I think the Air Bud movies go into like football and stuff and soccer and everything too. Yeah.
There was the basketball. The dog playing basketball in the first movie, and then in the sequel, the dog was playing football.
Yep. Oh man. Yeah, a lot of their movies aren't bad. I was actually just watching the new Wonka movie with my kids, and that actually wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. My biggest, I think, criticism of it, if I was really to like scrutinize it, would be they made him into a magician, but not like any magician, but like he has like magic. What's up, Trucker Rob? So like not only is he like not like just magician, like, oh, here, pick a card, any card, like, oh, disappearing ball or whatever. Like he can make candy float and everything like that, which again, my kids loved the movie and they can like sing the songs, and they've only seen the movie one time. But yeah, it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. I don't know how memorable it'll be. You know how a lot of these movies, like they come out and you're like, the movie finishes and you're like, I don't even remember what happened. Like it was okay, but I don't, like, nothing sticks with you. I'm kind of waiting to see if that's what happens with this, or if it's something that will stick over time.
Yeah, I know. A number of years back on my birthday, I had my brother take me to the movies to see Atlantis: The Lost Empire, the animated Disney movie.
Oh yeah, totally. That's a great Disney film. Sorry, my cat is now on my lap.
You've got a fluffy cat.
Yes. This is Gremlin. Gremlin, can you say hello? She's like the best lap cat ever. Hold on one second. She's the best lap cat, but she's very needy. Like she's always like, "Come pet me. What are you doing?" So what's up with you, Tim? What's new in your neck of the woods?
Not a whole lot. It's just been hot lately, so I haven't been doing as much.
Nice. Have you been on one of these panels before, or is this your
Uh,
first time?
I've done some with Comics Division, Culture Casino, and Midnight's Edge.
Nice. Oh man. Sorry, I'm trying to manage the cat and talk at the same time. I'm trying to think here. Um, have you been following a lot of this? I mean, you had mentioned about not getting too much into election stuff. Is it something that you follow a lot? Like, are you big into politics?
Well, I try to stay out of it, but it's impossible to avoid when you're on Twitter.
Yeah.
It seems to get mentioned all the time on Twitter, so
Yep. Yeah, that's I've actually for that reason I've honestly been trying to spend less and less time on Twitter. Um, I mean, it's exhausting, is what it comes down to. I don't really want to. Yo, what's up, Ark? Miss you, Uncle
Oh,
Sil.
hello. How we doing?
Good.
That's good.
Um,
hello.
That's good. Hey Tim, what's going on?
sorry, I'm like my cat is demanding love right now. What are you doing,
Mm.
you little sneak?
What did I walk into?
We were just talking about politics, and I was just kind of saying how I just basically it's one of the reasons I've been staying off of Twitter more is because I don't necessarily want to. I don't want to see all the crap, as
It's politics adjacent, but this might be interesting to get some people's thoughts.
Hmm.
What are your thoughts about political parody accounts in general, as well as political parody advertisements using just it could be political advertisements in general, or we can hone in on what's being talked about now, political advertisements using AI. So that's AI voiceover, that's AI music, and AI image mapping. So like they take like Kamala Harris and then they go like that's what's really been going on right now is some trolls have made a Kamala Harris deep fake and it sounded like kind of decent. It's really unnerving how close the AI has come to mimicking human speech. What are y'all's thoughts on that? It's not
Yeah,
necessarily politics, but it's
yeah.
adjacent to that.
I just don't like AI. I've seen what AI does when a movie's being remastered in Ultra HD 4K. It can look very horrible. So I'm just not a fan of
For me,
AI.
that's the Lord of the Rings trilogy right there. They recently redid it, and yeah, it looks sharper, but it has lost almost some of the spirit that the original films had. It's not as gritty.
Yeah, well, somebody showed me some screen caps from the Ultra HD 4K of Jaws 3D and Jaws the Revenge, and eh,
Well, that's just a high definition remake. They don't use AI in that, as far as I know.
so it didn't
But
look. It looked terrible.
yeah, that's more in post production and editing and things like that.
I think I've been actually doing. I've been doing this sort of. I don't want to say class. It's more of like a guided video tour of AI and different and like kind of a beginner's guide to how you can like utilize it. And they're like the stuff they go over is actually pretty cool and very helpful to the average user. I think the issue comes in when you start when you start getting into the deep fake stuff, you start building models with people's real like voice. And it's a question of ethics. Like, should we be holding on to and it's nothing against Grant, but Grant Gregory, he does. Okay, Kat, you got to go. I love you. I love you the most. Like he's got my voice that he could use whenever.
And
So
it's pretty good. I
Right.
can feel the difference because I've heard you for a couple years now, but give Grant a little bit more time and let the machine learning part of the AI get better, and he will capture your voice. That is the unnerving / almost scary part to AI voiceover.
Yeah, and like, and it depends. Like, and that's someone I trust, right? Like, it just and then it becomes like, and with politics, there's so many people who do things in nefarious ways anyway to slant something one way or the other. Yeah, kind of like what Silvar's saying. The problem isn't the tool; it's the intent of the user. And a lot of times with these tools in politics, you get people who are they're just trying to be like mean and vile and not upstanding.
Every single side of the aisle that is actually political, they want to disparage the other side. They want to put the other side in a bad light. And then you have the trolls, just the people that are apolitical, the people that probably don't vote, and they just want to see both sides burn.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's like and actually, it's funny you asked the question because one of the people I follow on TikTok, he's a voiceover guy, and he didn't mention names, but it sounded like someone who he's done work for basically used his voice in like I forget the word he used. It's basically like a reshoot of something, like a sound clip, like and it happens all the time in voiceover work. Like you go back years later, like maybe something changed, so you just gotta go back and sort of match your tempo, your voice tone to what you said, and just change up some words. And it turned out that the company that he had done work for had basically used an AI tool to get his voice and then did it. And the only reason he caught it was because he was like on LinkedIn and saw like a voice and happened to hear like a little like click or like a little like a bad cut in the audio. And he was like, he wrote him an email. I was like, hey, what is this? Like, and I better get paid for this because it's still my voice, even though, he's like, and I go in my studio every day and I don't have any of this stuff that you put on there. Like, what'd you do? And they basically admitted to him like, oh, it was just 2 seconds. So, like we were just going to use it and make it easy.
But he didn't get paid for those 2 seconds.
Exactly. And he's like, no, if I'm doing that, you're using my voice, my likeness, I'm getting paid.
And that's the thing. You bring up an actor. The SAG, Screen Actors Guild, is going on strike again. Why? Because they're striking against AI voiceover and AI voice manipulation in video games, movies, TV shows, wherever it can be used that the SAG covers. They're going on strike, and I really think that SAG is going on strike because of who's the actress that plays Black Widow in the Marvel?
Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah, Scarlett Johansson is actually suing a company because they are using an AI voice that is replicated and uses portions of her voice, and they're using it as like, I think, their mascot or something.
Yep.
Because remember, she also starred in Her. She was the voice of the AI, and I guess like it's all coming to a head is what it really is. Yeah, it's not a good time for acting in general, for voice acting especially, because of this AI voice manipulation. And really, it's not manipulation, it's voice creation, because they are using the vocal waves that you have created, and they're mixing and matching and mashing it together to create brand new sentences.
What's up, Zombie?
What's up, Zombie?
Hey-o.
Hi, Space Zombie.
How you doing?
I think, again, I don't necessarily care. And even the voice actor who was talking today was like, I don't know if I would care that they used it that way if I had gotten paid. He's like, but there needs to be some terms laid out, like, hey, we're using our software to make an AI replica of your voice to fill in these 2 lines to make it easier. Are you okay with that? And here are the terms for getting paid. Like that. That needs to be laid out.
I like that, and that's probably what they're going to come to terms with in the SAG strike. Here's an ethical question for you, Bruce Willis.
Oh my God, it's Metastep with his motherfucking camera on.
Yeah, what's up?
How's
it going?
Dude?
It's going good, man. Here's an ethical question for you, Shags, and everybody else here. Bruce Willis has a disease where now he is basically mute.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel bad for him because he was one of my favorite actors, and to see him go out at, like, I think he's 67 right now. To go out like this, that's rough.
Yeah.
He's mute, and he has starred in hundreds of movies. What if they do a remaster, but because he's mute and he's also extremely old and his voice will undoubtedly have changed? The only way that I could see them remastering it with his voice is if they did, like what you said with the contract, like Bruce Willis's estate would get paid for them morphing his already recorded voice waves. I'll just say his audio.
There's actually an example of that recently.
Real quick before you say that, Zombie, I just want to reply real quick to Rugged King. The AI creation that we're kind of discussing, I do know that they're considered parodies. We're talking in terms of an actual, like, agency, a voice acting agency using a voice actor's AI voice to input into either an ad or one of their products, and without telling him.
They've already had a contract with him, right?
Yeah. And that is true, Rugged King. You are correct.
Yeah.
I think he's replying to us about the first conversation that I brought up was, how do you feel about parody accounts using AI?
Oh, true.
And I agree that they are sadly legal,
mm-hmm.
but ethically, how, like, it is a slippery slope.
Yep.
I am an advocate for the slippery slope fallacy.
Let's let Zombie was going to answer a question. I apologize. Sorry, dude. Go ahead.
So in the game Cyberpunk 2077, you guys know the Ripper Doc of Victor, the main guy you meet. So his voice actor died. Yep. And he died before they finished the DLC, and he has a few lines at the end of the DLC depending on certain choices. So CDPR asked his estate if they could use AI to fill out those gaps. And they actually allowed that to happen.
Yeah. Okay.
That's cool.
That is one example of it working out, where they at least asked instead of just, made a deep fake.
Well, I'm sure they got compensated too, is the big thing, Yeah.
Another one is someone made a quest mod for The Witcher 3, and they used AI to just make voice lines for all the characters, including Geralt, and the main guy who voices Geralt was not happy. He was pissed.
That is a line you can't cross, because you don't
line.
Yeah, you don't own his. So those guys are getting paid to do those voice lines, and now you're using his likeness. Now they're not making anything off of that, but they're still it's a line you can't really cross there.
Right.
And you might be able to make the argument that it's okay because they aren't profiting from it. But
it would have been at least ethical to ask.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's like Fallout London came out recently, and actually Lethal Lightning has an interview with one of the voice actresses that worked on Fallout London, and she worked on it for a long time. And Cremato, who was also an interviewer on that interview podcast, he mentioned something like it's like the size of a game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a mod overhaul that is literally a new game. they can't call it that because it's a mod for Fallout 4. You see what I mean? You see how you can't like the mod for The Witcher. It's not a game. It's a mod.
Yeah.
So even though it's a free thing, you still have to use the, I guess, proper nomenclature.
Yeah.
Right. No, there's a correction to that first story with the CDPR with the Cyberpunk. It was the Polish voice actor. It wasn't the English voice actor.
Oh, okay.
Just to clarify that, because the English guy, he's still kicking.
Right.
The Polish version of the game, he died.
Yeah. No, I'm really loving this conversation. It's kind of bounced around a little bit, but you got to have these stream of conscious conversations, man. You got to.
No, they're fun. I like. I mean, especially talking with you guys. I mean, Metastep, Tim, like give us your take too if you have something. I mean,
the thing I was gonna say, didn't Bruce Willis like sign away his he signed off on using his likeness?
I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised. He seems like a cool dude
in his voice and stuff. I'm pretty sure I heard that anyway. But
I wouldn't be surprised either.
I think if the artist or the actor, whoever he is still alive, and you just go ahead and use their voice, that's definitely like an infringement.
Yeah.
On your own. I wouldn't want to call it intellectual property, but your likeness. Yeah.
I think that it should definitely follow the same way that we copyright books and other IPs like that, where now Winnie the Pooh is in the public domain, right?
A specific version of him, though, yeah.
And a specific version of Steamboat Willie, which is just Mickey Mouse, is also in the public domain now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that your voice, number one, if your voice should be your own, you should be able to copyright that yourself, or not even have to. It should just be yours, right?
You would think.
You would think.
That should just be inalienable right away.
Right.
Like that's a default, but it's not going to be.
Yeah. And I think like after so long, like 70, 80 years after the person's death, then it possibly could go into some public domain of audio files. I don't know.
Right.
I'd be okay with that as long as like my estate didn't have like, I would probably try to pass it down through my estate.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But if there was no estate, then that makes sense.
It is weird that we're like, you have to like sit here and think now, like, oh man, I got to worry about someone taking my voice, and like it doesn't, like for the average person, it doesn't matter, right? It's like it's when you get to a certain like social media status that you have to start worrying, like, oh, if I have an opinion that people don't like or they do like, it's likely that some form of your identity, and now it's not even like a credit card number, it's like, oh, I'm just going to take all his audio files, I'm going to run it through my AI and generate something of him saying something stupid. And it's not even that sophisticated anymore. Like you can just, I mean, it could be, you could put up an image of me sitting in a school board meeting and with words that I didn't even say on it, like a meme, and get me in trouble. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's exactly.
Don't tempt me, Shags. I will make that meme.
The Rugged King brings up a great bunch of questions. He says, so I'm curious, am I allowed to copyright my likeness? Using my voice body could get royalties, ? Maybe. Is it possible to for you to sell it? Does it fall under public domain when I pass after so many years? I mean, yeah, those are all
that's OnlyFans
that we have to ask ourselves.
I think it's something that you're going to start seeing, like contracts with these like clauses in them. As far as like getting, I think voice actors have to think of this stuff because like that's what they do, is they're using their voice to do multiple different
things. That's their entire career for them. Yeah.
Well, singers and rappers too.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, totally. Yep.
I mean, one of the most popular things on YouTube is AI covers now.
I mean, just you want to talk about voice acting, go back and look at any 90s cartoon, 90s to early 2000s. You'll see like the same 5 to 10 people do probably 20 to 25 voices per cartoon.
I mean, that was the entire Looney Tunes. He was all voiced by like 3 people.
What was his name? Mel Blanc. Yeah.
Fun fact: he was in a coma once, like straight up in a coma, unresponsive, and they started talking to him in character, and he responded as Bugs Bunny, and they were able to walk him out of a coma with that.
Wow. That's wild.
Wow.
That is wild.
Meta, what were you going to say? You're going to say something.
Sorry.
I don't know. I have the memory of a goldfish. So.
Take another rip and come back.
I don't really smoke that much anymore, to be honest. I smoked a little bit earlier, but it's CBD, so it's not like I'm getting like high or anything.
Okay.
But yeah,
It's just like your opinion, man.
I smoke regularly for my mental illness. But
Well, here's a question for you: indica or sativa?
it depends. Usually indica though.
Okay.
But if I'm trying to do like a bunch of dishes and housework, I'll probably go towards sativa.
Okay.
Sour diesel, East Coast sour diesel is like my favorite sativa. Dominant.
Damn.
It's 70-30. And I recently grew out blueberry filled donuts, which is by what's weird
I
though,
love
you
the
know what?
name.
It smells and tastes just like, do you remember those Hostess pies?
Uh-huh.
That
Yeah.
with the blueberry
You're
Hostess
making me
pies,
hungry.
it smells and tastes just like those.
Oh man.
So it's dangerous. But it's indica, so it's like almost pure. It's 70-30, I think. But yeah, that was really good. I got a bunch grown outside this year, so I'm looking forward to that.
I know you're not talking about food, but I'm getting hungry now.
Yeah,
Thanks.
yeah. No. And my strain that I started breeding, and I just got so excited about it that I didn't like grow out the plants that I was going to start my breeding run with. I just kind of grew them and bred with them immediately. So like I found out that they're like 3/4 CBD, which is actually really good for me. But I crossed it with a bunch of other shit, so that was my first project.
Nice.
Sorry, I didn't want to go off on a tangent, but you brought up weed,
No,
so I
you're
had
good.
to.
No, you're good.
Talk about food more.
Real quick, I'm gonna let's kind of pivot a little bit. What about people who made voice acting career as comedians doing impressions? Should they have to pay the people they imitate? I think no, because that's different.
That's still under parody.
Yeah, it's still under parody, which again, I guess like the AI is branded as that, but yeah, in there, I think, I mean, again, this comes down to like ethics and morals. Like if you have the ability to create a voice that is not yours, but sounds just like someone else. So this guy who does the voice acting, that like where this whole story started, he does impressions of like Arnold, Ryan Reynolds, Michael J. Fox, like a bunch of guys. You guys have probably seen him on your TikTok feed if you're on there, or maybe on a YouTube short or
Doesn't
something.
he do like voice acting for the video games of like their movies?
Yeah.
Like he's an impressionist voice actor, like that's an actual field.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yep. Joe Godet is his name.
If you're putting in your own labor into it, I mean, I guess AI is like making the AI is labor too, but it's not the same. I don't think it's the same.
Oh,
It's
it's
like
not.
you're
the
using
same.
a program to do it, whereas like somebody actually has to develop a skill to do that.
Right.
I can see this going all the way to Congress. I really can. That like there's going to be a new definition of like there's going to be a new definition for everything AI. There's going to be a separate category for that.
Well,
It's I don't think that AI is going to be parody for much longer. I really don't.
Mr. Drought said that this stuff is already in contracts and it started back in Back to the Future too. So I wonder
What
that's an interesting thing.
stuff?
Well, we were talking about like I think
They didn't have AI back in the late 80s, early 90s.
But they did in the future.
Oh, I'm just gonna leave. I'm leaving.
They probably give a small kickback to the person that is being imitated that way to avoid lawsuits. I don't know about that. I don't know. That would be an interesting thing to look up. I doubt it. I mean,
Well, I'm wondering because you know,
as long as you're not,
contracts. Oh, sorry.
I was gonna say, as long as you're not passing yourself off as that person, like a lot of the impressionists, like especially this, like he's on camera as himself, pretending to be Arnold or Ryan Reynolds. He's done like deep fakes as like Arnold on his account, but like
I don't think Frank Caliendo could have had a career if he had to give people kickbacks. For
true.
imitating.
Yeah.
So, I know, Mr. Drow. I don't think that's correct at all. We're kind of having two different conversations at once. I'm more talking about artificially creating someone's voice with like brand new lines, everything. And then we're also talking about comedian impersonators and voice actors.
Which
Like,
that's a different subject, I think. Like,
Yeah.
That's a different field because they're actually like you can sound alike to someone and that's for a job, yes. But when you're using a robot to mimic it almost pitch perfect, that's different.
Well, yeah, and the really the scary part is when people put this stuff, like especially on like social media, right, where a big account, and this could lead into another discussion we can have, like a big account puts something onto their account and it gets shared 20 million times on Twitter, and people see it and go, oh my God, I can't believe that. And it turns out it's not even the real person saying it. Someone just generated it. So in this, I don't know, this is going to lead me into something else, but I think that's the difference between what we're talking about here and then someone just like pretending to be someone else, or, so
yeah, I can see that.
Who did they do that with recently with rap? They used, was it Tupac? Oh, it's Drake. Drake used like Tupac and someone
That's
else.
true. That's true. He did.
And he
he's
got
got a lot of
fucking
shit.
ripped for it. And I would
he's
see,
getting ripped for a lot of
I
other
used
things
to rap,
too.
so I don't want to hear my voice on somebody else's beat someday, or like I don't want my family to have to hear my voice rapping some shit that I didn't write. You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
that's
That's kind of fucked up.
It's like a violation to me,
yeah.
especially without permission.
Silver says, I'm concerned with the moral ethical distinction because AI users will claim they are the same as the impersonation impressions. See, this goes back, and this is the same thing that people were arguing with Shadiversity about his AI stuff. It's like it's not the same as like you conceptualizing something and making it all your own. It's different. And same thing here. People are like, well, it's just a tool. You use your tool. And like, while they are right to an extent, you need there again. That's why like AI is only a small portion of this, and you can use AI to.
This is why is it right that I'm doing this? No, it is almost hypocritical, but I have an artist friend that is disabled. He is physically disabled, and he uses AI in some of his artworks, but the way he told me was that his process was he has to write like a 5-page document just to get a nice base, and then he can go in and he can add, take away, touch up, things like that for his artwork, right? The only way that I'm fine with AI being used, even as a tool, is if you are physically disabled or mentally disabled to where you cannot learn how to do that. I cannot carry a bucket. I cannot carry a tune in a bucket at all, whether that's musically like singing or with an instrument. But I have the capability to learn how to do that. And so that means if I use AI to create music in any way, that's wrong. That's my stance on it. I also can paint and sculpt and do anything with quote unquote artwork. I have the ability to learn. So if you have the ability to learn and you're not disabled, you shouldn't be using AI. That's my stance on it anyway.
Well, you can use it to the point where it's only a part of it. It's not the whole thing. And like, again, like that's where like the debate with Shadiversity, like he does use multiple tools in there. But he was at one point he was using a lot of just AI and not using the Photoshop tools. Like there's a way that you can integrate everything, but I agree with you that I think it should largely, especially in art, it should largely be reserved using it for people who just don't have the ability.
But then it's also ethically like the machine learning aspect of AI.
Right.
You are ripping from other people's works.
Yeah.
It's plagiarism in and of itself. If you just break it down in definitions, it becomes plagiarism, because that is how machine learning works.
Well, it's supposed to. I mean, the thing with AI is it is and it isn't, because what AI is doing. I mean, when you're building a model with AI, it's taking the information in, and it's finding an average of what everyone's doing, like
which is plagiarism. You are taking information without consent.
There's a style of art called a collage. That's not considered plagiarism. Isn't that like basically what AI art is doing?
I mean, essentially, it's rearranging pictures that exist into what it thinks that you mean. Like, that's what I mean. It's AI modeling is hard. Like, when you're building the model, is because you're feeding it information saying this is what all of this is, and then when you're asking it to rearrange everything, it's doing its best based on the information it's given. So, and that's what I mean is, like, you can. Like, when you put information in there, say I want Superman flying through the air, but he's got a Z on his chest, on an S, and all this stuff. Like, if you take it right from there and put it on your page and say this is mine, that is you're in a very sticky ethical situation. Now, if you take that image that it gave you and then do even more to it, change the color of the S, do some more with like a sunset in the background, change 20 different things on it, then it starts becoming more yours. It becomes a conceptualization tool and not the art piece that would.
See, and that's where we disagree, and that's fine.
Yeah,
that's fine. The only way that where it is now, Shags, is like, hypothetically, we've drawn a line in the in the sand, a line in the sand. Slammed.
It's slander.
It's slander. So we've hypothetically drawn a line in the sand. Said it right. Shut up, zombie. You dirty bastard. I've spent like 3 hours with you today watching movies, and I didn't think you would follow me here. So here we go.
Brother, I'm like a tumor. You might get rid of me for a few weeks, but I come back.
Yeah, you're also a freaking zombie, so I can't kill you. So, line in the sand, and
you mean slant? Sorry, continue.
Where's the line? I don't remember.
I hate all of you. I want you to know that, except for you, Tim. Tim, I love you.
Tim, since you're new here, you're fine. Rest, you can go fuck yourselves.
That's right. Bitch. Where was I? I don't even remember.
You want?
Bro's losing his footsteps in the sand.
You were drawing something. I'm not sure.
Something about the line.
Something. We should just call this
between the lines.
We should just call this stream The Line in the Sand.
There you go.
Yeah,
okay.
The line in the sand. Yep.
The line in the sland.
God,
So,
this is
Shags,
great.
you're on the side that says AI is not plagiarism, and
Did you mean to
am.
slide?
This is
Shut up, Zoe.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm done.
Yeah, thank you. So the only way that we can solve this is literally if we were to go into a court of law and then come out of it. That's where we're at.
Yeah.
That is where we are at right now, because it'll all boil down to what's allowed in contracts, what is allowed to be used in artwork, what is allowed to be designated as what, and that's pretty much it. The line in the sand.
So I used AI for all the covers on my songs on my last album that I put out, and the only thing that I did was the title, the logo type, and I manipulated the levels. But other than that, I didn't really change the artwork at all. And I'm an artist. I'm a visual artist first and foremost. I grew up drawing, so I can do all that shit. But in order to release my album on time when I wanted to, I used AI to do the artwork for it. So I don't see a problem with it. And I'm an artist.
Yeah, no, that's why this conversation is a very interesting one, and it was interesting to follow back when Shadowversity was fighting with everyone over it, because everyone has like their tolerance for for this topic and for other especially the AI stuff. It's such a varying spectrum of like, this is okay, this is not okay. Like, I'm an artist, I'm okay with it. I'm an artist, I hate it. Because there's people on the opposite side, Meta, who are like, no fucking way. Like, this is, so it's.
To me, it's like a remix or. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I was going to say, like, I think I know an artist friend who just despises AI. That's all I was going to say. Sorry.
Yeah. I know exactly who you're talking about too, Zombie, and he would definitely have words on this panel for sure.
Dude, let him fucking rip me. I don't give a fuck.
No,
like,
he wouldn't
my
rip
project.
you.
Like,
he wouldn't rip you personally. He just would rip AI.
Oh, yeah. Well, let him. I mean, it's if you're making something new, it's not a ripoff.
See, and that's where I.
Do you know how many other artists borrow from other artists?
That's why this topic will never be solved.
To actually do that. To actually create that art, they still put in the work to actually do it. They don't just
work to create the AI art too.
See, and that's where the line is.
Yeah,
I still put labor into making those AI images.
Well, and it
was my concept. It was my idea of what to make it, turn it into.
Right. Not disagreeing with you on that. It's just what the AI source its material from is what is a lot of the main issue too.
Yeah, and how would you find those derivatives too? Like in music, like they used to have, when you'd make a sample of something, you would have to pay derivatives on the samples that you used.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Point.
Would they be able to do that? That's the question.
I mean, for instance, like Getty Images, if you want to use Getty's images, you got to pay them a fuck ton of money to get access to their stock imagery.
Yeah.
Maybe they start. I can see a company popping up that's just a repository of people like, hey, you upload your image to our repository, and we outsource that to AI models, but they also have to pay for that privilege.
Right.
That could be a potential business model. Not saying I agree with it or disagree with it. Just it could happen.
Right.
Now, if we go back to the chat, I saw a lot of good stuff in the chat. Shag.
Yeah, there was. Yeah.
Silver said the AI is the next stage. If you want to go there.
Yeah, AI is the next stage of argument that has gone from is photography art to is digital art cheating to is AI stealing. Yeah, I mean, again, it is the next iteration of the argument, and that's why I say like everyone's right in their argument.
I'm just more right.
Right. And that's it. And it all comes down to how you want to approach, again, your art. Like Meta, if you want to use AI generated images or, cover art or whatever, that's totally cool. To me, if you can draw a direct line from what you have to someone else's work, that it becomes the problem. Because what people do, and most people just go into Chat GPT and they type in CD on fire, me holding a meteor in the background. And that pulls from 1,000 different things that's already been fed into it. But what some people do is they take an image like Tupac's Illuminati album cover. They're like, put my face on Tupac's face. And then they call it good. That is not work. That is you stealing someone else. Even though your face is now on it, you could draw a direct line from, because you fed the image into it and just said, put my face, which looks like this, onto this, and then done.
It's kind of twofold. Like it's labor and it's also IP. It's intellectual property. So you have the idea of that cover art from Tupac was taken, right? So
Well,
Well,
it's also like if I were to look up dragon, which I have done many times with like the early days of AI artwork, what are some of the classic examples of art that they would have had to draw from to power the algorithm that is artificial intelligence? And it would have been at the time that I was doing it, it was like 2021, 2022, around there. So you already have like medieval artwork of dragons. You already have all of Game of Thrones. So you have the CGI dragons that they used. You already had the Hobbit movie, which had Smaug. Like, you have so much that you can pull from that are already IPs that are heavily protected IPs, and it's like when does it become your work, and when does it become like the question is the line in the slant is it your work or
Yeah, that's
is it
never gonna die.
it's never gonna die. I'm never gonna let it die
it's
either.
a thing now.
It is.
Thing.
We need shirts, Shags. We need shirts.
I'm on it. Hold on.
The line in the slant.
He's gonna use an
He's
AI
gonna
to
make it right now
generate
with
a
AI.
funny t-shirt. Yeah.
Yes.
God.
So is it your work or is it plagiarism? That's the brass tacks of it all. That is the brass tacks.
The blast tags.
And until we have, I'm gonna strangle you, and it's not gonna do anything.
I don't need to
In
bleed.
Minecraft.
You know, the funny thing is I'm playing Minecraft right now.
I just and we're gonna talk about Minecraft in this stream too. I was gonna talk to Shags about that. Send you a DM. But yeah, like that's where we're gonna be talking ourselves in circles until there is a grander consensus, and then it literally becomes what the larger portion of humanity wants. That's what it's gonna come down to.
I had another question in regard to AI generated content. So I was watching a YouTuber, and she had a sponsor segment like most YouTubers do, and it was a company that specializes in making AI video work. My question was, isn't it kind of, I don't know if it's the word is unethical, but it seems odd for a YouTuber to sponsor something that could be used to basically make their job stupid easy. Or I guess like I'm wording it wrong, but like I think it's weird for a YouTuber just to advertise video content creation.
I think it's awkward is the word I'm going to use, but
Just it left a bad taste in my mouth when I saw that. It's like
I don't know how you could make a business off of that either. Like the AI in general.
Yeah, don't worry. They go in depth on showing you how to use AI to essentially trivialize content creation. It's not gonna be good, but it's gonna be made.
What's
Awful videos.
Can you give an example of what you mean by trivialized content creation?
So basically, they can use it to have a voiceover. It can auto subtitle, which always leads to a lot of misspellings, wrong words. Like TikTok videos and YouTube Shorts are full of them.
This is as good as I can get it. For some reason, it never spells words right. There you go.
A line in the slad.
People are gonna see that and think you misspelled salad, but I'm fine with it.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know why it does. Every time I ask it to spell something, it never spells it correctly.
Why can't you just go put an N in there? See, that's where Photoshop comes in and where a touch-up comes in.
Right.
But Photoshop uses AI now too.
That's true. Photoshop does, and
It sucks, though.
Instagram.
It's horrible.
If you post any pictures or artwork or anything like that on Instagram will take that and put it into Facebook, Meta, whatever you want to call it, AI machines. They can pull from your artwork.
Yeah, that's what Adobe tried doing pretty much,
Oh,
or that's what they were rumored to do, but people got mad.
And that's where I come from with my stance of it's plagiarism, because you made this artwork and then it's going to like scan it and then deconstruct it, and then pieces of it will be used, smashed together with other pieces from other people's artworks.
So kind of like a kid smashing his action figures together, sort of thing.
Yeah,
Just see what happens.
Yeah. So is it right or is it wrong? I'm leaning more to it's wrong, but also I'm not an artist. I am not affected by this monetarily. Actually it only helps me as a consumer, but I also dislike it because it's a lot of it's just not good. A lot of it's not good.
Yeah, I mean, I heard it. Sorry, I wasn't fully paying attention because I was trying to get that image to work. But
Me too.
no, Zombie, you were saying something about how there's like AI that makes content creation easier. And then I heard Metastep goes, oh, what does that mean? Or something like that.
Right.
So that is like another example of how like AI is there as a tool. And I've used Opus Clip for shorts to generate shorts out of my longer form clips before. And it is very helpful because it can identify like subject matter, especially in like two person interviews. But the problem is it needs to be trained. Like you need to tell it when it's doing good, when it's doing bad. It's not really that accurate. And then like those tools are great and they do help streamline some of the workflow, but there's a lot of work that needs to go into it afterwards that people don't realize. Like it's not as like, oh, put your thing in here and you have 8,000 pieces of content in 5 minutes. And it's like, well, yeah, if you want to be lazy and have it look bad, you could do that. But
that's what this company was basically doing, was it would do a lot of the heavy lifting for you, is what it was claiming.
Right.
So like it would make the video, it would make the visuals, it would do voiceover, it could make an AI cut out of your voice if it wanted to, if you wanted it to. That's why I felt icky just seeing that. Just like, nah, that's weird. Don't like that.
King Deplorables comes up with a good statement. He says, well, I think the only way AI beats traditional artists is if they give up on their skills. There will always be a demand for traditional art, has been for thousands of years. I completely agree. I completely agree. You can program a machine, a 3D sculptor or a 3D printer or even a CNC machine, and you can cut things out and you can create metal artwork, you can create wooden artwork, you can create any type of mineral artwork, but it's been machine cut. It hasn't been hand sculpted or handcrafted, you know? But that is another can of worms. Like, is machine cut art? Yes. Is handcrafted art? Yes. And so that's why I say it's hypocritical of me in my stance, right? I'm openly admitting that it is kind of hypocritical in that machine learning, artificial intelligence, is that art? The answer is art is in the eye of the beholder. It's very subjective.
Right. I mean, paired with other things, because those machines make things easier, but they're still like the lathe made, sculpting extremely easier, but there's still a lot you need to know in order to operate that machine properly and safely.
Not fucking cut your hand off.
Right.
That's part of the art.
And like AI is not going to, and what I will say, and what I wanted to say too before was AI, like this doesn't apply so much to images. Like the real problem with AI and like, I guess, plagiarism is with information that you're pulling off the internet, and people are like pulling full on, reports and stuff and presenting it as their own work. Like that's a real ue with stuff.
Right.
The digital images are they'll vary. If I put the same prompt in twice on ChatGPT, you'll probably get two different images from it. It won't even be the same. But when I ask it to pull data from whatever, it'll probably pull the very same thing and cite the same sources. And that is a big issue where people aren't like, again, it's a good tool to pull a bunch of information off at once. Like Zombie, I told you that whole Minecraft thing. Like I didn't go through that table and find all those links, and I asked ChatGPT to put all that stuff into a table, and just makes it more manageable to look at.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's a great tool again, but it's not.
Yeah, that's not a problem at all. It's just when you use it to generate information, like, oh, hey, what's a great mod idea or something, and it just comes up with the most wacky shit you ever seen in your life.
Right.
Silvar says something great. He says King Deplorables exactly. People pay more for handmade pottery from masters, and others pay less for factory mass-produced pottery. It's
Right.
still
Yeah.
a pot.
I was just gonna bring up that point that there's still gonna be a market for only like there's gonna be purists that only want like human made, handmade stuff, and also in the digital age of like the internet, you're a lot of times people aren't just investing in your product, but they're also just investing in you as a person. So like if
Right.
you're like I can try to find an example, but like I know for a fact that some of the people that bought my album bought it because they watch me or they know me or they like me as a person and not necessarily because they liked my music.
Mm-hmm.
So like you're also selling yourself too. So
Exactly.
in a sense, you know what I mean? Like people are going to become like loyal followers of the artist. And they could go and buy some AI piece of artwork that looks like the same thing, but it's not from that person.
Yeah.
See, Rugged King also says, like related to the music industry, he says, in the music industry, if the song is noticeably similar, it's possible to be sued for infringement. As long as AI generated content and it isn't noticeably similar to another content, would there be a legal case? That's a very good question.
As long as
that's one I don't know.
As long as AI generated content isn't noticeably similar to another content, would the use be legal? Yeah, again, I think it would come down. It would probably be legal. It would come down to a moral, ethical question, and people might look at that as, "Hey, this is like really close." I don't know, man, because it goes, and it even goes to like the Milli Vanilli shit, all that, like, Ice-T was like, "Oh no, it's din 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 din." Like, what, dude? Like you?
Yeah, no, that's
not
one of the
enough
full
of a
different
difference,
interviews.
Yep.
Din 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 din.
Yeah,
It's like, oh, okay, you added an extra da da da. Wow.
And it's also it really boils down to even if the courts of any country deigns it legal for AI generated content or IP of any kind in any way to be used, that's where we go back to legality does not equate morality, and morality does not equate legality. And what is ethics if not morality?
Well, yeah, ethics is like basically group morality.
Yeah.
And so it's a very cyclical argument where we found ourselves in, but it's.
I'm gonna make T-shirts with all of Arcasul's like weird, a line in the slant and a cyclical.
Is it what is it? Cyclical, cyclical,
cyclical line in the sand.
It's the emphasis.
Cyclical line in the slant.
Yeah. Emphasis on the syllables.
God, a lot of big words from Ark. He's just pronouncing all of them wrong.
What's up, Steph L? How's it going?
I'm impressed by his vocabulary.
Vocabulary.
Hey man, I'm just a southern redneck trying to sound smart, guys.
Don't you mean the reddith of neck?
The reddith of neck.
King says, I think the legal. Wait, did we read this one yet? I think the legal area surrounding AI and content creation being so gray is beneficial if the law allowed for creators to have civil recourse for cases of obvious theft or for profit. Yeah. The problem is right now there's not I mean, we can all look at images and stuff and be like, oh, that looks weird. Like that's probably AI. Some of the stuff is really good, and it's hard to tell. From what I've actually learned in the past sort of like week or two, is that they're working on AI detection within AI, or like AI is able to detect like X could have an AI detection on its posts. So if AI detects that this post is generated through ChatGPT or whatever, it would watermark it automatically, which again that's also AI. So you need to train that. It needs to train it, and it might pick up things that are wrong. And we've
False
seen
positives.
right. You'd get false positives over a period of time while it's training it to see like what it's spitting out. Because as quickly as it's kind of like the pesticide thing. As quickly as you make a new one, the insects are adapting to the next one. It's just what people in technology do. They're constantly looking for those ins to not debunk, but to upend your security measures.
Yeah.
Ark is expanding his vocabulary as a future writer. That's an important skill to train for. Absolutely. Yeah.
See, Rugged King gets it. He's a real one.
Yeah.
Thank you, man.
Pronounce half of the names you have made up for that book without messing it up.
No.
Archer's like, no, fuck you.
I will not. Oh man, syntax for that book that I'm making, Shags. It's killing me.
Yeah. I was it's funny because so whatever you said you've been making that in Obsidian. I do use Obsidian occasionally, and I tried opening your thing in Obsidian, but it just downloaded a doc file, which is not at all formatted. It's just like a of text.
Oh yeah.
So,
yeah.
But
that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, Real Wade Nation, thanks for the raids, buddy, on YouTube and Twitch. Appreciate you, bud.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, but great conversations, guys. I love it.
This
I
is
love it.
awesome. I like having the AI discussion especially now that I'm looking into it more and used it a little bit more than just generating images. Because like I said, it was like sometimes sifting through information is annoying. And if you know what you're looking for, you can tell AI, well, at least ChatGPT, if you have the paid version, you can with a couple of add-ons, you can ask it to search the web and collate all this information and put it into a table for you, which you can use to look at and make it much easier. But yeah, AI is always the question around is always what are people going to actually do with it in the long run?
Oh, release
a
the
lot of gross
McCracken.
stuff.
Release the McCracken.
I tried using AI to make the line in the sand. I tagged. Oh, okay. Let me see.
Gotta go see this.
Pull it up on screen.
Oh,
Share
see,
with the class.
McCracken's. This one's good. This one's good. But again, it doesn't spell it right.
The surround.
Orion. Orion. I'm putting an R in there now.
Oh.
So he's McCracken. It's sland. He said a line in the sland. That's what we're. But this looks awesome. It's a better end than I had.
Line in the sod. That's what it looks like to me.
Line in the sod.
The sod, dude.
A line in the sod.
The sod. Fucking
Sod.
surfer dude sounding ass.
No, that's good. That's good.
It's a nice image.
It does look nice.
Makes me want to go to the beach.
The bleach.
The bleach.
The bleach.
What else has
Just
been
gonna be
happening?
adding like L's in random sentences and words.
Sentences, yes.
Sentences? Really?
Sentences. Yes, really. I can't add an L in really because there's already an L in really.
There's actually two, so.
Well, there's gonna be three now, you bid.
Oh, so this was how I was going to bring the AI thing over to this next thing I was going to talk about. Did I save it?
Well, we don't
No.
want to talk about what you want to talk about.
I don't.
Oh, Shaq's brought it up? No one's talking about it.
Yeah.
No one ever does. This is going to get spicy. So, this
I see what
whole
way. Oh,
this whole
boy.
topic of so my thing, I don't know. It certainly looks like this person's pretty guilty of everything. But this tweet came out allegedly from Chris Tyson's sister.
Yikes.
And she said, I'm his sibling. He, and yes, I used the correct pronoun, told me that he got fully aroused when he secretly
Nice job
stole my
censoring
female
yourself.
clothes.
Hey,
and put them
yo.
on.
Yeah.
Well, we're not on TikTok, so I can say that. He's deluded and disturbed, and it's 100% a fetish. He's narcissistic, and professionals have told him he needs a full psych eval. So this it's been seen by 23 million people.
Yeah.
I know what Drama Alert is. I know what he does.
That's Keemstar, right?
Yeah, it's Keemstar.
Yeah.
So this is one of those things that I'm like, one of the problems with X and all these like accounts like this is that they'll spread something like this without verifying what happened. Now, there's a lot of shit surrounding this person, and it doesn't look good for them.
Yes.
But here's you can never talk about this stuff without like
self-censoring.
It's not even self-censoring.
Sounding like an apologist.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not apologizing for this person. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Sounds like something an apologist would say, bro. I don't know.
Well, there's actually a comedic joke about that, and it's like the different types of PDF files.
About R. Kelly, right?
No, I've seen the one he's talking about.
I'll find a place
on YouTube.
We can watch it.
Yeah, please do.
Oh God.
The distinction between age brackets is what he's talking about.
But that aside, that whole bit was funny. This, is this person? Is that really his sister? Can we verify that? And that's what, and again, I know he's not like an investigative journalist or anything, but when this sees 23 million people, at some point, I feel like, I don't know.
Why would they lie? What do they have to gain, Shags?
Yeah. Oh, he's definitely Butter Cafe. I'm not saying that he's not protected. Totally has been protected by people. But at the same time, I do think if you're gonna say if you're gonna say, oh, this is his sibling, this is, there should be some. Yeah, this is the one. I know this one. I'll play it for sure.
Yeah,
is that sleazy in her profile picture?
I think what you're trying to I think what you're trying to say is there needs to be some verification about, is this really Chris Tyson, the person's sibling?
Yeah, because you want to immediately condemn them, but you also don't want to find out to be wrong, because that's going to make any future issue less believable.
Yeah,
right.
Too.
It's the whole. Watch this. Let's laugh and also critique it.
Yeah, we'll laugh because this is funny.
I need some laughs. It's getting too sad
right now. Thank you. Neither of us has very good taste in music. So whenever we're about to make love, I put on a random Spotify playlist, and a couple months ago, I put on an R&B playlist. I was feeling ambitious, and R. Kelly came on. Yes, you've heard the news.
Oh no!
And my girlfriend was like, "Oh no, we cannot listen to R. Kelly. R. Kelly is a pedophile."
Can you say that on YouTube? Can you say that word?
Well, it's on YouTube there, and
I guess it's already on there.
It, so
okay.
We'll just stop it right here so we don't get copyright stuck, and so it is transformative because we are critiquing it and also using it in our discussion here. I think you're good.
Okay.
File. And now here's the thing, and just hear me out for 1 second.
This is exactly how I felt, by the way.
Bro felt all those laser sights on him.
Yeah.
Technically speaking, R. Kelly is not a pedophile. Just give me 1 second. I promise it's going to just hear me out. The term...
He's like, wait. Hold on.
Oh, maybe this is the one I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Pedophile refers to people who are attracted to those that are prepubescent. Then there's something called a hebophile. That's people who are attracted to those in the early stages of puberty, like 11, 12, 13, 14. And then there's something called an ephebophile. That's people who are attracted to those in the later stages of puberty, like 15, 16, 17, 18. But I think the reason we don't make those distinctions is because it's very hard to explain the difference.
I'm glad you knew exactly what I was talking about, Art.
We got to
Metastep.
redo this with AI and just put your face on him.
Yeah, right.
Oh my god.
Without sounding like a pedophile.
Facts.
I have a
Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly. he is 100% right.
Well, it's impossible. And again, that's exactly why it's hard to have the in-depth conversation on Twitter. Like if I had made my post on Twitter hey, do we know that's this? Like everyone would be like, oh, you fucking apologize.
Well, yeah, that's the bandwagon effect.
What are you one of his buddies?
The fallacy there, it's like people are finding people guilty before being proven so, and then it's like it becomes guilty in the court of public opinion, and if you go against that public opinion, you're going to be considered one of them.
Well, I mean, that's what happens to a lot of men who are falsely accused. So it doesn't matter if they're proven innocent. Nah, too late. Everyone thinks you're a bastard.
You have that stain on you already. Yeah.
Like what is it that we always say? Innocent until proven guilty in a court of law, right? That's what we always say. But there's a difference when it's in the eyes of the
public.
The eyes of the public, like the court of the public. Your public image can be tarnished irreparably. And I was talking with some friends earlier today about all of this stuff that was coming out about YouTubers doing things to underaged individuals, whether in the past or present. And I said, the public stance that you have to take is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law, because DMs can be faked. As we were just talking about, you can have an AI voiceover that mimics your voice.
God.
And you can create all different kinds of damning evidence. So,
yeah. Well, this is the account.
Of the public, who knows?
This is the account that tweeted that. Their tweets are protected.
That's
115
never a really
followers.
good sign.
And they joined in September 2011. So the age of the account seems there, but
it's just the privating that's a little suspect.
You could do a reverse image search on the profile picture, and if one of those two people has been in a photo with Chris Tyson, you should be able to figure out if it's true or not.
He's speaking from experience.
Shut up, zombie.
There's absolutely no defense over, Chris and what he allegedly did. It's just more of all this stuff comes to mind because when all this stuff is shared as fast and as widely as it does get shared, like Meta said, it's people have already convicted the person in the court of public opinion, and that's all that matters. And this kind of comes back to what I've said
they did it with Rikita. Sorry to interrupt, but they did it with Rikita Law too.
Yeah, and that's
they just he's a drug addict and he's a
swinger.
He's swinger. Horrible. That's the other one that's huge. They're like,
what's wrong with going on a tire swing?
Right.
Stupid.
And that's what I mean is and I'm not even necessarily saying with this person in general that maybe they were right. I don't know. Everyone keeps talking about the poster, and that they were involved with someone who does the weird fucking
Release the McCracken
cartoon porn.
Does ever release the McCracken?
Yeah, Release the McCracken.
I've seen enough.
He says it was his sister. She was briefly in a Mr. B, which is Mr. Beast video with Chris. Interesting.
Oh, okay.
King says, some of it was true, but I don't believe for a second the stuff about his kid. Yeah, I don't. And they had on side scrollers today, they had the dude on that was his assistant. I wanted to watch that and see, but again, that's another thing is having those people on is all well and good, but there could be motive for that kid to come out and say, or to slander his old boss, like, oh, he didn't treat me well, so now I'm going to say all this stuff because.
Well, I mean, even the victim came out and reiterate. Well, he didn't necessarily change his statement, although he kind of did, because he said, looking back on all of those DMs and all of those interactions, they were highly inappropriate to have with an underage individual.
But that was only after the other guy came out and said, "Here's the fucking logs."
Right.
And then
King was talking about Nick. Okay.
But then, yeah, like the guy, the initial victim or quote unquote victim, depending on on what you believe or not believe, he backpedaled on a lot of what he said because he tried saying that other guy was lying.
Well, yeah,
and it's like, I got the logs.
It's like the same day that this stuff with Chris Tyson came out, there was a very famous Call of Duty Zombies YouTuber. I believe he goes by T-Lexify or something like that. He also was involved in a situation very similar to Chris Tyson as well. And
what is going on? Past couple of months, so many like YouTubers, online personalities are being found out to be freaking creeps.
Yeah, and then
I mean, I'm not honestly that surprised. It's way more pervasive than people realize.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
like, I did see this.
I know that, but just so many of them so quickly.
They're trying to grab Mr. Beast in them, but like I don't know if like he didn't have like a proper role attached to him, which people were saying it's probably that's hit like the Mr. Beast part is probably not true, but like the other DMs are likely more real, like the ones between Chris and whoever else. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's
this whole situation is FUBAR.
Well, and this again, like to me, like it's all well and good to know all this stuff. It makes great content. Everyone makes thousands of dollars off of commenting on this stuff, right? My issue is like this, can we? Is there a way to like get the police into it and like lawyers and?
No. Here's like I agree if there is a way, like there should be a way. Like for sure, the statute of limitations is not up, right? And if you have all of this evidence, it should go through a court of law, right?
Yeah.
But they've also, and I'm going to segue into this. They've also used. I just sent you another on Discord another video. Chris Tyson quotes this video word for word because it's a meme. It's a copy pasta, and you can show it on YouTube because Markiplier has reacted to this and he's laughed at it in a Try Not to Laugh compilation.
Oof.
So like you can show this on YouTube. There's nothing bad.
Okay. Allegedly.
No, there's nothing bad.
Bad.
And we're gonna watch it first, and then I'll say what I wanted to say.
I got this new anime plot. Basically, there's this high school girl, except she's got huge boobs. I mean, some serious hunkers. A real setup of donkeys. Packing some Doban hunkeros. Massive the hunka bankaloos. Big old Tanahangara cougars. What happens next? Transfer student shows up one day with even bigger Bonhanaga hoogs. Humongous hungalamga no logangas.
So they took that video. Chris took that video and then posted that in his server that was once private, and they're trying to use that as a gotcha because the joke involves a high school girl and a transfer high school girl, and they're trying to say that is PDF file ick.
It's a bit of a reach.
That's just making fun of every anime ever, though.
Yes,
like that's that whole point of that video. It's just poking fun at the tropes.
And that's what Chris was doing. Yeah, there's some things that are damning of evidence that have been shown, right? But they're trying to
the lolly things he's been talking about.
Yeah, exactly. And so they're trying to use this joke, this meme, as part of the evidence that is damning. You know what I mean?
Well, that's the thing. Was it lolly art? It's called.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not illegal, right? Or is it?
Yeah.
Technically, it
should be.
No, yeah. And it's again, technicality aside, it's not illegal to possess.
It's immoral as shit. But
okay,
it's,
yeah, that's
but it's yeah.
right. And
That's the thing.
you can't get somebody, you can't arrest somebody because they have creepy art. You know what I mean?
You gotta play that joke again. You
Yeah, I
gotta
mean,
play
look
the
at
first
John
joke again.
Podesta.
Save yourself. Save yourself, Shags.
No, and I'm not excusing it. It's weird as shit. It is weird as shit. I agree.
Especially when
I'm
it was in the Mr. Beast video. Like, did you see that clip?
no. Nope.
So I gotta kind of explain it a bit, and this is also gonna make me go, wait, hear me out. So there's this notorious artist online known as Shadman. He's well known for drawing young girls in suggestive ways or straight up prawn of them. Like he actually got like cease and desist from the lawyer of the actress who played X-23 in Logan because he was drawing a lot of her in really bad ways. He was bad.
Yeah, I heard that. Yep.
Yeah, no. So he drew some art piece of a like really young girl holding. I can't even explain what's going on in the picture without probably getting you demonetized. So I'm not even going to say that. But anyways, the art piece is hanging up in their I think their apartment building that they started out in.
Yeah.
That Chris and Mr. Beast lived in together. And Mr. Beast is sitting less than 2 feet away from the picture. It's on the wall, and you see it in the video. Like it's blurred because it's out of focus. If you try to go back now, they actually deleted the 2-minute segment of that video. So it's archived.
What is the artwork of?
The artwork
It's of
is
a young girl pointing a fire stick thing, bang, bang, boom, boom into her mouth.
If it's the same one I'm thinking of, Zombie, it's Keemstar's daughter.
It wasn't Keemstar's daughter. That's a different one from that same artist.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that artist has like made a bunch of things of different people's like kids and young YouTubers.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good. And we got to watch what we say and how we say it.
Yeah.
Hi, Sonia.
Hi, Sonia.
Welcome to hell.
So Bud Cafe says only way for police to get involved is if someone claims sexual assault. I agree with him. And then A Serious Man says, bingo, Bud Cafe. I don't think they have anything that's actionable, which very well could be true from what I've seen so far, but we still haven't seen what was in the NSFW channel. Yeah. That's
until they showed that.
And that's the problem, is that a lot of this stuff gets lost in the sauce because it gets passed around social media so much, and there's so much bullshit on Twitter. There's so much, like, I don't even know it's real. Like, is all that stuff legit? We don't fully know. We're presented with a bunch of stuff and it looks legit. Some of it might be fake, some of it might be, someone trying to take, someone who's successful down because they don't like people. Some people just want to see the world burn, right? Now, like, and that's why I just wish, like, a lot of this stuff, if it were real, like, wouldn't people come forward? No, not necessarily. I know this because, a lot of this stuff goes unreported. It sucks. I don't know. I'm getting tired of, like, all this stuff going around social media, and like just none of it just really ever seeming to come to anything other than, oh, well, I quit and I'm not part of that anymore. And Mr. B's still making money hand over fist. And I don't know. Maybe everyone's innocent. I don't know. Maybe that person's guilty.
Nobody's innocent.
No, it's true.
It doesn't, at the end of the day, it's not going to matter because, like, honestly, the brand is going to be hit hard from this. Like, it's not going to ruin Mr. Beast. People are like, oh, Mr. Beast's career's dead. No, it's not. He's not going anywhere. But, like, definitely it's going to hit the bottom line. Like, this is going to hurt. Not enough to kill the business, but it's going to be a fucking stain.
King says, you know why it's real? Because years ago they knew it wasn't right. Some of Chris's mods have said as much, and they kept it in to cash in on the day they could benefit from it in some way. Yeah, wow. That's one of the other issues with this shit, is that people don't speak up when they're, like, supposed to, and then they drag it out to now, and it's almost like
use it for blackmail,
I guess, or like, well, there's also statute of limitations on a lot of this stuff too, which might not be. They might not have crossed that, but still, like, you need to. That's why it's important to like you see something, say something. I hate to fucking use that
Well,
phrase, but
Fucking
like
snitch.
If it
Yeah.
comes down to, I don't know what type of law it would be breaking. Maybe it would be like some type of sexual crime law, right? In some states, the statute of limitations for those type of crimes, I think they're 20, maybe even 40 years, if they even have a statute of limitations. You know,
right. Well,
I know
this is what you can
California
do.
Yeah, go for it.
This is what you can do. You work for someone who is doing something questionable, that is hiding something that is questionable, not exactly illegal, but immoral and just downright wrong or just fucking creepy. Leave. Don't work for that person, because if people like, you could like tell your coworkers, hey, I saw this, and show them. You leave, and if people leave that business, who are they left with? I mean, I know leaving just saying leave is easy, right? But you don't have to support that person. You don't have to back them up. You don't have to take a paycheck from them. Go elsewhere.
Well, take this for example, Terry Crews. Terry Crews was sexually assaulted by a man, and he spoke up about it, and nothing was done.
That's where that whole clip where like men need to hold men responsible, I think, came from too. Was his whole like speech about that?
Yeah,
because he was not happy, well,
Yeah.
understandably so. But another thing is too is I think like another reason why they hold on to
what happened
this
with Terry
is
Crews? I missed that.
he got
was
assaulted.
He was assaulted by.
He
was groped at a party, like an after party, and he came out and he openly talked about it, and nothing was done. And
By
that's
a male or a female?
male.
Was it Andy Dick?
No, I don't think so. Although I could see it.
Because I know someone else who was groped by him.
Oh, he's an awful human being. Andy Dick is awful.
Yeah, I've heard that about him. Yep.
I mean, when the man walks around high off of his mind, wetting himself in public, I don't think he's a stable person.
I've never done that.
Nope.
Don't judge me.
Ever.
So Andy Dick's a dick.
Surprising.
So what we don't know who assaulted Terry Crews?
We do know it was some
Oh.
executive.
Wow.
To the Google.
Yeah, now I'm curious now.
But what I was saying earlier was another reason why some people don't come out with this knowledge is like, do you really want to be the person that goes against Mr. Beast? Like, you are going to be drowned by all of his supporters, his staunch defenders, and you're going to be made out to be some liar. Your life's probably going to get fucking ruined.
Yeah.
Because everyone's just going to know you as the person who dares say anything bad about one of Mr. Beast's friends. It doesn't matter how true it is.
No, I know. And that is certainly the hard part of it is, well, that's the hardest part, especially now, because he's like, as far as, I mean, he has so much money that he could just send a legal team after you till you die.
Yeah. He just sends you a gag order, essentially, and tells you, like, hey, you're going to take this money and you're going to shut up.
Wasn't it like a 14-year-old boy that was met up with them or something?
By who are we talking about? Kevin Spacey?
No. Sorry, I'm back on what the Mr. Beast guy. What's his name? Chris.
13.
13-year-old, and then they met again 3 years later.
Male or female? Male, right?
It was a male boy. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, yes. Bury you in debt. Yep.
What you're saying, like getting laughed at, I can relate to that because I personally was, assaulted by a female, and if I tell people that, they laugh at me.
Yeah, you're supposed to enjoy it. You're supposed to enjoy it. Like, you should.
Why don't you get a boner, dude?
Is that?
I mean, I'm not gonna say I didn't get one, but like,
that's like
make it right. Though.
That's a psychological. That's a physiological response. That's not you wanting that.
Yeah, they say nice.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
God.
So
it's like there was actually, I believe it was a Swedish lady. She kidnapped a dude and then fed him Viagra and had her way with him.
Bro.
Yeah, he went to the police.
Why can't we all be so lucky?
Would.
Oh, you.
Anyway, part of the problem, Shags.
So
you're a part of the problem.
Am I?
Shags, I don't want to know anymore about what goes on in your household.
What do we
man.
got up on the screen here?
Yeah, so well, I'm answering Metastep's previous question of who it was. So Cruz recounted a Hollywood party where an unnamed powerful agency executive, later revealed to be William Morris Endeavor's Adam Vennet, groped him.
Wow,
Like, just
You-
went for it.
bro.
Just went for it.
How big are his
balls-
hands?
The balls it would take to grope a man of that size, like
To grope the balls of another guy like that.
Well,
yeah.
well, you see, that's why Terry said it was at first it was unnamed when Cruz was talking about it, and it was a powerful agency executive. That's why he had the balls to do that, because he thought he could get away with it because of people like Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah.
that's
They're all
so
part of that club. If you know what
Yep.
I'm talking about.
So
Yeah.
it's not good any way you cut it, and it happens to men, it happens to women, it happens to teenage boys, teenage girls, little kids.
Oh, look up
Doesn't
Nickelodeon
matter.
stars. A lot of them get fucking. Sorry, that's probably the right way. A lot of them get molested. Like, all the
yeah.
time.
So I know Drake Bell's not the greatest person to use, but it happened to Drake Bell, and then later on he went on to do disturbing things to not of age people.
He repeated the
well.
cycle.
Yeah, because he's in hot water himself legally. I believe that I don't know what's going on with his case at the moment, but then there was a documentary about a
Quiet on set.
Yeah, it was called Quiet on Set, yeah. And it was was it a producer?
I think it was he helped with the dialogue, and he was a openly gay man, and so the dad tried to point out, like, hey, this adult's being inappropriate with my son, and he got ran off the stage pretty much, being called homophobic, all kinds of things.
Yep.
And then it turned out to be true, and no one apologized.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's an entire rabbit hole that we have just went down. And it gets deeper too.
I want to go back to the AI talk.
No, you can't.
I'm drawing a line in the sand. We're not going back.
No,
Yes,
you're
line
gonna
in
talk
the
about,
sand.
you're gonna talking about these sexual allegations. You're gonna like it.
Oh my god.
Was it? Somebody said, I thought he was just texting a minor or sharing explicit photos with a minor.
Who is he?
Not that it's just, but you know what I mean. No, I think that is that was the big thing, really. I think, but there was another allegation of him, like, I think going camping, like alone with underage kids.
That's not good.
So that was like a big thing too. Again,
He was calling like a 16-year-old boy daddy in the DMs, apparently. Which, granted, that could be faked, like he was saying. But
here's something we can talk about. What are we thinking about Robert Downey Jr. being Doom?
let the man die.
So I Robert Downey Jr. is one of my favorite actors, and I'll watch basically anything with him in it. So I'm probably gonna watch it because I really like Robert Downey Jr. I wasn't around for when he was on his coked up phase, right? I was there for when he came back as Iron Man, and I was like, this guy's awesome.
Yep.
But I understand the gripes of having a dude that died as Iron Man come back as Doctor Doom or Mr. Doom, Doctor Doom.
Why is it
Victor Von
why is it
Doom.
R-worded, King?
What's that?
King said RDJ as Doctor Doom is slow.
R-worded.
Retarded.
Yeah. Why is that?
Well, I mean, I would say like, so people have been drawing the corollary too of Josh Brolin being both Cable and Thanos. And I could even see, like, I mean, actors are actors, right? If they're good enough, they should be able to be two different people. I would say that the big difference between Cable and Thanos is that they were kind of two separate universes to start. Like,
they were in separate settings. Yeah.
The Fox universe was different from the MCU. Now they've sort of like put them together, it seems. I haven't seen Wolverine and Deadpool yet. I've heard mixed things, like everyone.
I don't want to talk about it.
I've heard nothing but good things about it.
I've heard like one side being like, oh, this is stupid, it was fan service, and then the other side being like, oh, this was really entertaining and I really enjoyed it and it was cool. I don't know.
Now, in that vein, a very good friend of mine is like the epitome of cinephile. Like he loves movies.
Oh, what a file!
He
Xenophile.
he wants to bang the movies, is what it is.
Weird.
And we were actually watching movies with him earlier, Zombie. So,
Yeah.
he said that, in his opinion, which I take his opinion over. Hello? Hello?
Are cut out.
Can you hear me, Zombie?
I can hear you now.
Oh, okay.
It sounded like your mic like went away.
Oh, great. I love technical issues. So he said that Deadpool and Wolverine is better than Deadpool 1, in his opinion. And I take his opinion in a high regard over other people's, right? And so that's what I'm going in with. Like, if it's that good, then I have high hopes for the movie. But then there's always people that are like, oh, this is just straight up fan service. They brought Hugh Jackman in and then they got all these cameos and it's just fan service. I'm like, yeah, okay.
Technically, everything is fan service when it comes to entertainment.
It's like, aren't those the same people who also bitch when there isn't fan service in like Star Wars and shit? Like, oh, they didn't include my favorite character here, but then they include my favorite character in this movie, and clearly that's bad now.
Well, here's the thing too about like already. Well, I just saw this pop up on my feed. Josh Brolin reprised his role as a variant of Thanos in Secret Wars. That variant is King Thanos. Again, like, so this is sort of the with RDJ being Doctor Doom and now Brolin coming back as King Thanos. There's the key jangling thing where it's like, hey, look over here, look at this shiny thing that everyone loved. You know, like, and that's how you're drawing people into a theater, not like, hey, we got this cool original story, or you know, we got this cool adaptation, a new reboot of Fantastic Four. The villain's going to be Galactus and Von Doom, like it. But instead, it's
for example, would you have rather somebody else be King Thanos? Would you rather they just get a brand new actor?
I would rather you didn't do King Thanos. Enough with Thanos. Like he carried everything on his back. We're done with it. That whole, like,
he's died like twice.
Yeah. How many times you got to kill a guy?
But if this is an adaptation, if this is an adaptation of the comic books, they do that with the comics all the time. They always bring the characters back. They always find a way to reboot something.
That's fair. Yeah. No, it's totally a fair point. And that is
RDJ. I'm not even a comic book guy, and I know that.
No, and that is a fair point, and it's a point that many people have made on like TikTok and YouTube about, like, you know, there's plenty of, you know, there is a whole what if story about Von Doom and Tony Stark being roommates in college, and they swap brains and like, you know, like that they could be playing that angle. There's a variant of Tony Stark that actually is Von Doom, or does play a doctor. Sorry, is Doctor Doom, but like not by the same name. So there is, and again, the multiverse opens up a lot of different things you can do. Mm-hmm. I think at this point, I'm not interested in it, which is a bummer because they've already ruined a lot of it. It's kind of where it's at.
It's like if a friend has it on, I'll watch it. I'm not going to go to the movie theaters. I didn't even go to the movie theaters for movies that I wanted to see. I just watched the Ungentlemanly Warfare movie today. You know, the one with
Henry Cavill. It's a Guy Ritchie movie.
It was great. It was a Guy Ritchie movie. Guy Ritchie is one of my favorite directors. I did not go to the movie theaters to go watch that movie. I waited until it was out, and a friend of mine had it, so I watched it, and it was good. But like, don't take my word for like, go watch this movie in theaters. It's like because I'm not going to do that.
Right. Yeah. King's pretty good at explaining things for me sometimes. This is one of the aspects of crossing the mediums that can be jarring for people. Multiverse what ifs don't always translate well to cinema. And we actually saw that in Marvel's What If anyway. Like a lot of those just didn't pan out right. And again, because not a lot of people understand what they are anyway. I don't know. It could be great.
I also want to add on to your point, Shags.
Mm.
A lot of the problem on why I jumped out of the Marvel fandom or whatever you want to call it, like the last Marvel movie that I actually like was wanting to go see and that I saw was Endgame, and then I kind of just stopped paying attention to the rest of them, right?
Yeah.
And what really put me off was I needed to read 50 million comic books. I then needed to go have a Disney Plus subscription, and I needed to watch every single TV show that they had because the TV shows impact what's shown in the movies.
I think Loki was the only show that truly impacted anything for me, and it was unfortunate that season 2 ended though, like in such a poo-poo manner. But
I shouldn't have to go into all of these different mediums just to get a cohesive story.
Well, and that's too, like, I think that, like, you can have, like, the comics are a totally separate, like, medium, obviously, because it's, it's on the page. And I think you can separate those two. I think you can have an MCU, like, movie. Yeah, what's up, Moxie? Moxie Dame? Thanks for the raid. Thanks for the raid. You could totally, have those two set. Like, I don't think you should have to read the comics to understand the movies. That would be that's stupid, I think.
That's how it was with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Like, you didn't have to watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. what was going on in the movies, and if you watch the movies, it helped you understand what the fuck's going on in the show, but you didn't have to. Like, it was this whole separate storyline, and it was okay for the most part.
Moxie Dame, thank you so much for the raid. Appreciate it. We're doing a community members panel. So if you're a member of the channel or you want to become a member, jump on. We'll be on for probably another 15, 20 minutes chilling. Yeah, no, I appreciate it. I hope you had a good stream. Yeah, and I don't know. And the other part of it is, and this might be a nothing burger. Robert Downey Jr. is just getting old. Like, he's getting a little up there. The de-aging thing, I don't really like that they'll probably use at some point. Like, he just looks like he walked out on stage and I just thought, man, that dude looks old, and he's vegan, motherfucker.
Did he get really skinny?
I heard
he's vegan. Yeah.
I heard one, like, it's just terrible joke. They said, bring back Coke Downey Jr. He looked healthier back then.
Coke Downey Jr. is healthier than vegan.
Yep.
Yeah.
Shocking. The other issue with Robert Downey Jr. as Doom is just that every time he goes on screen as Doom, everyone's gonna be like, "Oh, it's Iron Man."
Yeah.
Everyone's gonna just think that as soon as they see him, like, "Oh, hey, it's Iron Man." No, wait, no, that's just evil Iron Man.
Right.
Well, it's like when I watch Robert Downey Jr., I'm like, "Oh, that's the guy from Kiss Kiss Bang Bang," the first movie that I watched with Robert Downey Jr. in the role. So yeah, it is what it is.
They also need to do, I think what I would love for them to do is to distinguish between the timelines of being like, okay, the Fantastic Four first steps, this is totally has nothing to do with Thanos, with any of the MCU that came before. This is a completely new universe. If they say that, okay, fine. I can separate it all. Totally.
But they're probably not going to.
But yeah, it's just going to be like, oh no, this is just multiversal. Which
where were they before?
Right. And so to that end, I'm just like, I don't care.
That is the downside to making a movie universe out of these properties, because there's just so many things that it's like, oh hey, we're introducing these new characters and they're like all powerful. It's like, okay, well, where were they for the first 10 movies where they could have used their help? Are they just having a fucking vacation?
What I want if we're going this route is I just want, and I don't know if Deadpool versus Wolverine is going to get into it. I don't think that would be the plot for this movie, but I want Deadpool kills the MCU. That's what I want.
That'd be awesome.
That would be so funny.
Well, that'd be the perfect way to end like Endgame MCU multiverse shit, and then like, okay, now we can just start something else. Like, it would be funny and cool.
It'd be the best way to reboot it too.
I would like to.
Also, speaking of age, like Hugh Jackman is 55 and he looks very good for his age.
He eats meat.
Pause, bro.
Hey, no pause, only play.
Like,
Oh.
He
call
only
me.
eats meat.
He,
that what I heard?
no, he's not a vegan. That was the joke.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Because RDJ is a vegan and he's not looking
I
great.
got excited. Carnivore.
Call me.
Oh,
Call me crazy, but I want a real Marvel Zombies like miniseries. I think that would be so fun.
Apparently, they were in talks about it, but it just fell through.
The first 3 books were so good, I thought, and then like I know they're probably like 6 deep now or something like that, but the first couple of books were really really good. Like I was like into them.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
I got a fun fact for you about
so
those.
cool.
Wow.
The guy who wrote the first couple books is also the guy who wrote Walking Dead.
Yeah. Yep. Kirkman.
Same art style, everything.
I'm kind of interested now.
Check them out, dude. They're definitely worth reading.
Yeah. And then they just got kind of weird.
Hey, what's up, Epic Mike?
Yes.
Hey, Epic
What is that?
Ooh.
I definitely gotta check that out.
Hail Words of Paradise, who just gifted 5 TheShagsworth memberships.
Hell yeah.
Thanks, Words of Paradise.
That's the word.
Sorry, that was bad.
They went to me. Thanks, Words. What's up? They went to me and 1,000 Men, Leonard Ghostal,
Oh my.
A Serious Men, and
I feel
released
that.
the McCracken. There we go.
Nice, guys. Enjoy your membership. Hopefully you decide to keep them. If not, I'll hunt you down and find you, and then
And he will cry.
yes.
You don't want to see a bearded man cry in front of you,
No,
do
you
you?
don't.
It gets gross.
Like
Wet
go take a
beard
poop,
hair
Mike.
everywhere.
You want to talk about House of the Dragon, Shags?
You know, I have like 10 minutes left in that episode. We could talk about most of it.
Well, we could talk about season 1 and where you're at in season 2. Like, how are you feeling about the series so far?
I like the series. It's such a breath of fresh air from the final 3 seasons of Game of Thrones.
They don't exist.
It was just yeah. I mean, overall, it's a good series. It's done in the same fashion of like, George R.R. Martin loves to kill his darlings, kill his babies, basically. And you again in pure Game of Thrones fashions, you don't get attached to your favorite people because they likely won't make it to the next week, or they'll do something that you will just be like, oh, okay, you're just a total maniacal piece of shit. And this show, it's slower than I think Game of Thrones, but
Yes.
there's a lot more depth to characters that you're following. I feel like you're following some pretty deep characters. Like one of my favorites is Alicent.
Hey,
John Connors. Thank you. 10 Shagsworth memberships. Damn.
They went to Diana Francisco, Sonia Lysette, Moxie Dame, King Deplorables, The Beast, Gen T Maxi, Grand Garrison, Flatus Asphere, Jay
Yeah, that's
Payne,
Gembone from
Aspire.
Mr. Drow.
Let's go.
Yeah.
It's fucking awesome.
Now I'm not gonna say too much because I have read the quote unquote source material. I've read the books. I read Fire and Blood, and
Alert.
yeah spoilers. And I've also I'm ahead of you on the episode, so I won't say much, but I will say I'm noticing a lot of problems that I have with George R.R. Martin himself, like the way he has built his universe and specifically the timeline. And I can talk about that because like they've already made deviations. Season 1, they deviated by having Rhaenyra and Alicent be BFFs and be around the same age, right?
Mhm.
Alicent was a little bit older than Rhaenyra. When in the books, Rhaenyra was, I believe, 7 or 10 when she was named heir, right? and Alicent was 10 years older. I want to say a decade older than Rhaenyra, and they were not BFFs. So like they've already messed with the chemistry of the show, or I should say the show has messed with the chemistry of the books.
Mhm.
And there's more examples, but that goes into spoilers, and I don't want to talk about that. So in a way, I've kind of gaslit myself into saying that the show is fine by saying that number one, there is a book canon, and then there is a show canon, and number two, I can't find it right now, but I want to say that George R.R. Martin has said that the show is the objective truth of the Dance of the Dragons, right? So if you have the author saying that, then that's how can you argue against that, right?
Yeah.
But in the reverse side, George goes on to his blog, and then he takes a shot at the show for how they changed the blood and cheese episode, you know, and how a certain son was never born that was supposed to be there in that scene, right?
Wait, don't they mention him though in one of the episodes?
Maelor
Oh.
is Helena's son,
Right.
and in the books at least, and George dubbed him Maelor the Missing because he's just not in the show.
Okay.
That's a
So
wonderful name for him.
I'm just, those are my gripes, because it's not necessarily aimed at the showrunners. It's not necessarily aimed at the writers. It's aimed at the author, the one that created it. You gave us a vague timeline and a vague backstory, and I'm just not feeling it. I'm actually kind of not dejected, not sad, but just kind of meh on the show now because of these deviations. You know what I mean?
It is clear though to me that they learned their lesson. Like they learned what people didn't want. And to that end, I'm like, okay, like thank you for not messing this up the way you did the end of Game of Thrones. They did such a good job in Game of Thrones of building up like a really good series, and they did an even more phenomenal job at taking that and jamming its head up its own ass. Like,
yeah,
it was,
and that's straight up D&D. That's straight up David Benoist and the other guy, the two showrunners of Game of Thrones. That's absolutely 100% their fault.
Yeah,
because they thought that they were going to become superstars and then go on to bigger and brighter things. It's 100% their fault.
And how is that turning out for them?
They've all basically been forgotten.
Yeah,
That's too bad.
Yeah.
There's no worse of fate than being forgotten.
Oh, it's embarrassing. Unfortunately. But like it's like I just think it's hard. Like this past episode, like again, I have like 10 minutes left of the episode, but I don't know. I just enjoy like how much is unfolding. Like they're paced well, in my opinion. Like there's enough going on that I don't feel like I'm like, oh god, this is dragging on again, dude. Like,
what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on Daemon Targaryen's haunted house?
Yeah, that is a weird choice. But again, this week's episode was an interesting one because I feel like in some ways they like subverted this character. Like they've kind of cucked him a bit. But I do like,
metaphorically and literally.
Right. I do like Oscar Tully's right, that's who it is. Oscar.
Yeah, it's Oscar. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I do like his role, which it surprised me. But yeah, that has probably been the worst part of of the series is like someone described it as the Daemon Targaryen's haunted mansion or Luigi's mansion type episode or something. And so to that end, yeah, it's kind of like, oh dude, but there's been some interesting parts which I hope they explain a little more. I do know Harrenhal's a haunted castle, essentially. I would like to know where that's going. I hope they pay that off at some point.
Same.
Nah, we'll just move on. Never talk about it again.
Yeah, probably. But is anyone else watching the show besides me and Ark?
I'm watching it with Ark. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Every
I haven't
Sunday.
watched anything since the Game of Thrones series.
Oh. Okay.
I don't blame you.
If you're not the forgiving type, I would not recommend this show. I would not recommend it. But
I haven't read any of the books, so to me, it's like it's whatever.
Oh,
You know?
okay.
But
fair enough.
I didn't really feel like the end of Game of Thrones was very good. It felt
was
like
not.
it was almost anticlimactic in a way, even though there was a climax. But
Wink, wink.
it wasn't a good climax. You know what I mean? But
That's what she said.
but
I'm sorry.
I'd be willing to check it out. I just don't have HBO or whatever.
Okay, yeah. I mean, there are other means of procuring.
We are not condoning such methods.
No, never.
On this live stream.
Right. Never.
We would never.
Yeah. Shut up, Ark.
I have an HBO Max subscription. Come
That's
on
not one of the lines in my slant.
God. We need to make a website. It's just line in the sland.
King says, I'm waiting for this end of the series, then I'll decide if I'll watch it. I don't want another fucking disappointment like we got with Game of Thrones.
That's
Good point.
That's what I'm going to be doing with Dunk and Egg. I am not going to watch Dunk and Egg because those books, the Dunk and Egg adventures, those mini novels, they are unfinished.
Yeah.
And that is going to be the next series that they jump into in the Game of Thrones universe, which is called A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. And it's a fantastic mini story, but I'm not going to watch it because it's unfinished.
Yeah.
Fire and Blood at least has a, like, you could follow from like beginning, middle, and end.
Well, I was also going to say too, like the Targaryen like civil war part is like phenomenal to me. Like watching this house essentially tear itself apart it's a slow burn. And I think it makes sense because even as like family who is divided, like you're not just gonna like necessarily rush into it. And the way it's sort of painted now is like, oh, this is how this side of the family is definitely going to win. But like, it's just not how stories usually work out. So I'm like waiting for the other shoe to drop at this point. And there's been flashes. What's that?
What a twist.
Right. But it's really cool. It's really cool to see this family, just like the internal strife it has in the different characters that are in there. Their motivations seem to match up right.
Right. The Devastator says, once George R.R. Martin finishes the book series, I will watch all of House of the Dragons. That's also completely valid. I agree with that.
I'll never finish anything
because of George. I refuse to start book series that are not finished. Like if it's trilogy and there's only 2 books out, I'm not going to start it. Also, Patrick Rothfuss is an awful author for making us wait this long for another book in his series as well.
I'm so ready for that 3rd book.
Yeah, dude, it's been
what series
overdue.
It's the King Killer Chronicles.
Yeah. It's good. It's a good book series. It's great. I love it. But I'm just like,
I don't want to wait.
PTSD from having to wait this long. And the only one that I will wait for, and I know that he's going to deliver, that's Brandon Sanderson. He's got the 5th installment of the Stormlight Archive coming out this year. During the pandemic, he had so much extra time. He created, I want to say, 4 extra books, like brand new ideas. And that's what he had a Kickstarter for. And that Kickstarter got millions of dollars. It's because he's a prolific writer and he actually produces like a sellable books. You know what I mean? and it's just a shame that George is as he should have a lot more free time now. He shouldn't have to worry about bills. He shouldn't have to worry about working. He should just like go to a log cabin and work on his books and deliver what he said he was going to deliver 15 years ago. John Connors also brings up the show's been great, a few missing awesome pieces from the book. I agree, but the book's always been treated as a recounting of the tale from point of views from not totally trustworthy sources. Yes, that is also a gripe that I have with George. He uses the unreliable narrator way too much.
Yeah.
Maybe he's an unreliable narrator. I don't know.
Ooh.
You should definitely pick it up and read it, even though he has a couple of short like novellas out that kind of are. One follows the chick who lives in the sewers there. I can't remember her name, and then one follows Bast. I think it's a prequel with Bast. So there's some interesting like little novellas he's done, but everyone's waiting for the third book. But the first two are fucking like so good. So good. Definitely recommend. Yeah, a lot of these authors need to just get their shit together and finish what they start. Myself included.
So instead of shut up and dribble, it's shut up and write.
Yeah. Which is actually honestly like I this weekend was, well, it was a wake-up call in many ways, but it was great. Ark sent me some of his stuff to like look over. And then just looking on Twitter, I was just like, man, I'm so sick of this shit. And talking with Drunk 3PO last week was also like an eye-opening thing of just sit down and start making your own universe and make your story happen, because the stuff that's coming out, like if you work on your own, that's your universe. It'll come out when it's done and you'll know when it's done. You don't have to wait on everyone else to finish their shit. And then other people can enjoy your universe. And I thought, all right, well, it's time to kick it in high gear because this has been going for long enough. And I want to finally finish this thing. And it's just like, I gotta put it out there. I'm fucking refocused. I'm re-going. And again, Ark was a big push to like do something because he's working on his stuff. And then same thing with Jay. He's working on his stuff, putting stuff out. And I'm like, all right, I'll be another one for people to look at this crap, you know? And I just want to be there. So if you're working on stuff, get it done. Don't worry, King. You'll be a beta reader. Don't worry.
I feel attacked.
You could be a beta reader if you want to.
No,
That was a good
give
combo
everything
with
go
Jay.
and get it done.
Yeah, that I agree with Metastep. That was a great conversation with Drunk.
Yeah,
Really good.
He's a really nice guy. Like I really like that guy. I haven't met him, but
he's the
from
same
what
in
I've-
person.
yeah, I believe it. He seems like a very genuine person.
Oh, Mike too.
Very-
Mike's
very
making stuff.
positive.
Yeah, Mike. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking
Movies
forward
like,
to
what
seeing
about
that
me?
too.
Yeah.
For real, it looks really good quality.
And it's like when you're creating something, and then you I think it was Drunk that said, Jay said like it's your baby for a very long time, and then you give it to a trusted friend or a trusted associate,
Mhm.
and then they rip it to shreds.
They
right?
kill it. Yeah.
Yeah, they kill it. And it's like I've told Epic Mike when he makes a movie, I'm gonna watch it because I want to support Mike, I want to support Josiah, but I also want like I will critique it, and I'm gonna do it in good faith, and I'm not gonna pull my punches because I want to see Epic Mike, the Epic Verse, and Josiah. I want to see them be the best movie studio created. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And so when you create something and then you release it for the public to critique and enjoy, hopefully enjoy, that it's going to happen to where I hope you don't get your feelings hurt, you know? And the same goes for me. I've sent it off to a couple people and they've already responded and they're like, this doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. Why is this here? And I'm like, oh, these are daggers to my heart.
Your grammar sucks.
I don't listen to criticism. I'm perfect. Well, yeah, you are perfect, Mike.
You're not allowed to criticize black men because we're white.
Oh,
I don't know. I learned that on TikTok today.
Well, according to Hotep Jesus, I'm an 8th black. So Hotep Jesus said Native Americans were actually African. So
okay,
no.
okay, that's.
I'm also Mexican, according to my friend Joe. He says that Mexicans are a blend of white and Native American, so I'm technically Mexican as well. So I have both those cards. You can't fuck with me on that.
That's true. I think I'm just
I win, losers.
100% white. Nothing else.
Yeah, but like King Deplorables says, Epic Mike, I'm actually looking forward to Blood and Water, which is a movie that Epicverse is creating. And he says, you better not let me down. And I'm of the same opinion. Although I'll give Mike some slack because it's like their first movie that they're releasing, I believe. But it's like, don't let me down. I want to see good stuff. Like put a good first foot forward, you know?
The good thing about Epicverse is they're doing like shorts. They're not doing features. Yeah. Well, I mean, features are huge, but like you can make amazing shorts. Like there's still a great way to do those properly. You could tell a story, and honestly, it's harder to do. I think sometimes it's harder to do a coherent story in a shorter time frame because people are so used to like having the time to talk, out things and drag out cinematography and all that, but. And like in a short, 15, 20 minutes, it's a little bit harder to get full narrative and character development out. So I'm actually really, really excited to see what they do. And I hope they bring stuff to the film festivals and everything.
Nah, man, you're wrong. You're just completely wrong. They need to release a 3-hour movie right off the bat.
I'm looking forward to the stuff that comes out of Epicverse.
No, they got to release the sequel first. And then maybe 10 years to make the prequel.
Oh, right. No.
The trailer I saw was like amazing. It looked really good.
Oh, yeah. John Connor says, looking forward to the short films. Only question I got is release dates. That is a good question to have. I don't think he's going to answer it here.
It's funny because we got the co-owner right here in chat.
Yeah, he's trapped.
No, even when I interviewed him, I think they were uncertain at this point, but they're on the way. And I'm honestly, I'd rather not know or anyone say like, oh, they're gonna be out this date. Like, finish them, make sure they're done, then release them. Everyone will love you more for it. No point in jumping the gun.
Look what Mike just said. He says that's a great question.
Finger guns.
Hey.
Oh.
Mike knows that. Yeah. It's and I'm sure you need Josiah here to answer that question fully too. Well, I think let me ask the white man first. Sorry, I didn't mean to bring race into this again.
Ooh. I was thinking of the Shrek clip where he goes, "Good question," and then producer not answer it.
Yeah. Oh man.
Oh, speaking of people being successful, Camelot with his placing a 7th, I
Top
believe.
10. Yep.
Wow.
So good on him.
Congrats.
Props to Cam.
Oh yeah.
Serious question. When in the world movies went from 1.5 hours to nearly 3 hours? Seriously, it's ridiculous. I agree. I was wondering the same thing. I just want a movie that's like hour 30, hour 45. That'd be great. I don't need a 2 hour and 30-minute movie every time.
To justify the budget.
No, man, we got Leo DiCaprio here, and we've paid him millions of dollars, so we're going to use him in every scene.
I mean, if it's justified,
justify the budget.
Yeah, I mean, but it's like when comedies are 2+ hours. Like back in the day, comedies and like kids movies, hour and a half tops, hour 20 minutes.
You want to know a good comedy that was released? Bad Boys 4. Go watch it.
I know. I gotta see it.
It is succinct. I didn't really like Bad Boys 3, but Bad Boys 4, great.
That's
great
the
movie.
Comeback movie, right? Because I think I watched that and it wasn't half bad actually.
Well, the Bad Boys 3 was in 2020, 2021. Bad Boys 4 was, I want to say, this year.
Oh, then I've not seen Bad Boys 4. I've seen Bad Boys 3.
But yeah, like you're 100% right.
2020. Yeah.
Hour and 45 minutes is you can make fantastic films in an hour and 45 minutes.
And not bore your audience.
Shorter movies actually means more revenue too. They can play it more times. Seems like a no-brainer. Pretty good.
Well, everyone wants their epic now, you know.
This is my magnum opus. It's a
Right,
movie
like-
about a talking bird.
Yeah.
Do we want to talk about somebody's magnum opus that is now getting a sequel?
Mm.
Gladiator.
Oh my god, I don't want to talk about that.
Nah, that's
I don't even remember the first one.
What? Well, it's
I
'cause
saw
you're
it
too
when I was
high, bro.
young. No, I was young.
That's true. You were young.
I don't.
How old are you?
I need to watch again. I'm 53.
Yeah.
You know, out of context, that question can sound a little suspect. There,
How old are you?
Shags.
Hey, okay, Grant. I know
No,
you're
I
not
just
married, Grant.
turned 40 in November.
Grant, we need you to isolate Shags' audio right there when he says, "How old are you?"
I can clip it, bro. Clip that shit.
We got him. We got him.
We got, ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
You're here to listen about hot takes about the next Gladiator. It's going to be dog shit, and there's no convincing me otherwise. Sorry. There's no need for this movie. There never was a need for this movie, and instead they crammed it full of a bunch of high-profile assholes who are just dressed up in makeup, who might be historically accurate, and the settings might be historically accurate, but nobody gives two shits about the people in it. All they care about is it's going to be a bloody mess that's going to look like CGI crap. And then the movie's going to end, and they're all going to be sitting there wondering, why did we waste time here?
Well, why was Gladiator 1 needed? Why did that need to be made?
Because it is an absolute. Honestly, this
Ooh.
this conversation will be better suited after it's out, because then we can actually compare the two movies and how they measure up. Because we're judging one off of knowing that it's a masterpiece, and the other one knowing that the trailer is garbage. So
Oh, 100%. Like we've
Oh my
already had this
God.
conversation. King of Marvel's like in the chat. He says Ark's history lesson was the best part.
yeah,
We've already had this conversation, Shags. I agree with you.
I was there, and you guys started going back to conversation. I started going, oh God, we're talking about this again.
Yeah.
it's
So I do agree with you, Shags. This sequel was not needed at all. But it's going to be a fun stream that we have when it comes out.
oh, for sure. Like
Oh,
I'll
God.
EFAP the shit out of that movie. Like when it comes out, or even we'll just talk about it for hours after. I don't care. I just see where it's going. I would love to be wrong. Don't get like, please. I would love to be wrong and it be a great successor. It's just so hard to top a movie like that. It's so hard because the movie is like cinematically is like perfect.
Oh yeah. Gladiator 1 is it's been called a masterpiece for a reason.
Right.
That's like it. There was an entire like a gag of lines in The Sopranos where one of the Italian characters is like, "The Gladiator, man, it's so good. Have you seen The Gladiator?" I mean, if it's that good to be quoted in The Sopranos, like then it's a fantastic movie.
Right.
I mean, it's in my opinion,
Did we lose him?
Yeah, maybe.
He was saying the wrong words. He has been booted. Be gone.
Yeah. I mean, I want to be wrong. I want to be wrong about the movie. I just unfortunately don't think that I am. And do you think a series about the Gladiator could work better than the movie? About what though? Like, I mean, see, this is where I think people don't understand. Like, it's okay to end movies, be done.
Like The Matrix.
End of story. Right.
The Matrix should have been done.
Right. You can argue that the original trilogy was fine. There's definitely no reason for resurrections, but the Matrix itself could have been just it, and then you draw your own conclusions from there.
I would have. I'm glad they made the sequels, but I'm just saying, like the first three,
Yeah.
like they could have just left it done.
No,
The
100%.
one was too much. In my
I
opinion.
only watched the first one. I did not touch the rest of the Matrix movies. Like I ain't
They're
touching
fine.
that shit. I
Indiana
watched
Jones.
the Animatrix. Animation was fucking great. Oh, no, you good. You good.
Fucking Indiana Jones should have been done after the what's it called? The one with Sean Connery.
Last Crusade.
Last Crusade.
Last Crusade.
Yeah.
That,
Yeah, no,
they
that's
shouldn't
it.
have
That
made
should
another
be
one
it.
after that.
And then they made 2 more.
Yeah. I haven't seen the new one, but I actually own the 4th movie. And I kind of wish
sorry.
I didn't. Yeah. I kind of want to throw it in the trash, to be
You
honest.
can. You totally can.
Nah, you gotta record yourself throwing it through like a shredder or one of
Yeah,
those.
put it through the fucking paper shredder.
You like those YouTube videos where like they throw like bottles of toothpaste into those like industrial like grinders things. There you go. That's your new content right there. It's just taking
Yeah.
really shit movies and throwing them in those things.
Fuck this Destiny 2 stream shit. I'm done with that shit. Or shredded shit from now on.
D-Tank he's talking about Gladiator, says main character and his family died, literally end of story, no sequel needed. Exactly. And we talked about this had a whole private Discord conversation about like the only thread that they pull from the first one is the little boy and his mom. That's it. Everything else is totally new characters. So, but I digress from that because Ark is back.
You can't kill me. You can't keep me down.
Temple of Doom was
trying.
really good. Temple of Doom was awesome.
Yeah.
Kalima!
That's the first one I saw.
Yeah,
My internet drew a line in the sand.
You talk shit about Gladiator, you don't get internet connection.
No, there's no need. There's no need for it because Maximus is dead. His family's dead.
Spoiler alert.
Spoilers, man. Come on.
Dude, if you haven't seen this movie at this point, there's like I don't know what to tell you.
It's your fault. Fuck you.
You just gave spoilers for the Passion of the Christ, man. Jesus dies at the end. Come on, man.
Guess what? He's resurrected on the 3rd day, bro.
Oh, I haven't seen that yet.
Man,
What the fuck?
Aren't they working on the sequel to that?
I didn't know that.
I actually think there is
They're
there.
working on
I,
a sequel to
No,
Passion, yeah.
Family Guy made a joke of that Passion of the Christ 2, the rechristening or something, and like Jesus is like
I
in a
heard they
Miami cop show with Uzis and shit.
Yeah, I heard they were making Resurrection or something.
Jesus is back and he's black. That'd be awesome.
It would be
always
interesting to
black.
see.
Did you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, well, isn't he Arabic?
No, he would have been. Yeah, he would have looked Middle Eastern. Yeah,
Right.
there's a lot of people. Every culture has like their own color Jesus or whatever.
I mean, I don't want to tell you, but Korean Jesus is the right one. So that's what.
Bro, I mean, technically he would. You would think he would embody all of humanity. You know what I'm saying?
Netflix. Oh no.
Have you guys ever seen American Gods? You guys ever watch that show on Stars?
No.
Never even heard of it.
So it was based off a book, basically like a bunch of old gods got taken over to America, and they're kind of fighting with the new pantheon that's being created by technology. It's a neat story. It gets weird. They made a show about it. In the show, they have a bunch of like all of the gods meeting up for like a social thing. And in there are a bunch of Jesuses because of all the different races having their own Jesus.
Oh no.
So they have Indian Jesus, Black Jesus, Hispanic Jesus,
wanna
White
see this.
Jesus.
I want to see it.
And like the funny thing is like what Easter was originally based off of, whatever goddess, whatever her name was, is like hosting the event. And someone points that out, and Jesus is like, "Oh, I took that holiday from you. I'm so sorry." Jesus is like being super sorry about it. She's like, "No, you're fine, Jesus number 23."
Silvar,
There's so many.
if you're talking about Gladiator 2, you'll get shit for this because I said the same thing. And they were like, "Oh, that's what they used to do. They fucking riding rhinos everywhere."
You sound pretty salty about that, bro.
The Warhammer Fantasy Rhino mount in the trailer is about as historically accurate as the rest of the film will be.
You're historically accurate.
The only thing that would have made that trailer better is if fucking Maximus rode through the wall in a fucking T-Rex and then just killed everyone. Was like, get the fuck out of here. That's it.
Or maybe they don't have a Kanye song playing.
Yeah.
Since we're back to talking about Gladiator 2, what I was gonna say was,
Yes.
if it's a bad movie, I'll eat crow. If it's a good movie, you and King Deplorables will eat crow. That's what it'll be.
Like
what does
literally,
lava taste like?
Like the actual bird?
It's a phrase. It's like I'm gonna
Cook it
eat
in
my
the oven?
hat.
Oh, like slammed?
it's an actual phrase.
That
like
one didn't.
slam.
That one did not land, zombie. I just want you to know.
I don't
that.
know. I thought it was funny.
Well, I mean, you're
Yeah.
high, so everything's funny.
Yeah, you're right.
Oh man.
I mean, you're the one who mispronounces like what 5-10 words every minute.
Hey, man, shoot me out from pressure.
I was like, shut up, man. You don't know
America
me.
founded
Come
on,
on, man.
you know, the thing.
You know,
Shabada pressure.
you know,
Shabalaba dong.
you know, Big John, like Big Joe, Big John, like
Corn pop?
I took
Bad
him around back and I whooped him.
Oh my god.
We used to leave our razor blades out in the rain.
And demonetized.
You guys never heard that story, huh?
We found Biden's
No.
scriptwriter. That is the most disrespectful thing.
So, Ark, is that why you haven't had much work?
Yeah, because they fired the guy that I'm supposed to write for.
Wait, what?
Wait, what?
Which part?
Just moving on.
I would like to mispronounce my vice president,
I mispronounce you as wife and husband.
Vladimir
President
Harris.
Vice President Donald Trump.
Vladimir
come on
Donaldo Harris.
They can't say Kamala's the first black lady president because Obama
She's
already,
Indian.
or Biden already did.
Yeah, and she's Indian.
Yeah, Biden claimed it.
God.
No, Kamala's out in these streets though. What are you talking about?
Oh,
Look,
and
just
Biden-
because she
for
fucked a
show.
black
Vice
guy doesn't
President
make her half
Trump.
black.
Jesus.
The throat goat herself.
Oh my god.
No, I'll say Nancy Reagan holds the throat goat.
Oh, I
The
didn't know about
Groat?
that.
The throat groat?
Yeah.
Throat goat.
yeah.
You mean throat goat? You illiterate bitch?
You are having way too much fun because I can't say what I really want to say to you, zombie.
Yes. You're censored, bitch.
King said I need
100%.
an adult.
Me too.
I am an adult.
All right. All right. Listen, folks, it's been 2.5 hours. This is an amazing members panel. I appreciate everyone who showed up tonight. Tim, thanks for being the new member. And thanks for joining
You're
us.
welcome.
Space Zombie, Metastep, Arcasul, thank you guys for joining on the panel as well.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
Don't forget, everyone, the last Monday of every month, this is what is for you guys. If you're a member of the stream and you want to come on, that's what we're doing. We're going to hang out. We're just going to talk about random shit, keep it light, and just have a good time. Don't forget that Wednesday is the last episode of the midweek hump. That's that's in 2 days. Yeah. Well, technically tomorrow, now that it's Tuesday at midnight.
Boo.
So yeah,
It's going to be the last midweek hump ever.
Yeah. No more Wednesdays after
Get
this
your
one.
humps in while you can, boys.
Please
No more-
elaborate. I missed this.
no more Wednesday humps. I will continue doing my live stream Wednesday nights. It's just gonna go to Shagcast for a while until the next thing. Really, the reason behind it is no other reason than the universe is speaking, and we are just kind of doing what needs to be done. I guess. Like I said, there's no bad blood to anybody. It's just, it was time is what it comes down to. And 114 episodes is a remarkable feat, in my opinion. And then this will just give me a chance to focus more on my individualized content, which I've never really put full on effort in. So that's where everything will go from now on. Is Wednesdays will be Shadcasts. We're going to mix in at least one video game stream a week. We should probably talk about that. We were supposed to talk about that before we were done.
Nah, it's good. We don't worry about it.
So we can just quickly mention that behind the scenes, if you are a channel member for Shags's Twitch, YouTube, Kick, or Rumble, you will gain access to a Minecraft server that we are deciding on
Diesel.
creating. So it is in the works, and yeah, look forward to that and go ahead and become a member, and then you'll get access to it when it's ready. It should be ready, I want to say, at least within a month.
Zombie.
Dang, I gotta go.
So and really what it's going to come down is, correct me if I'm wrong, but we're moving away from the mod stuff and we're working mainly with plugins, so people don't have to have like an amazing rig to play it. Yeah. So
and they don't have to each individually download the mods themselves. They just log on to the server and it will download the server plugins for them.
Yes. So
Hopefully.
if you like playing games with people, we're going to start off with Minecraft. We're going to play that all together. Like, again, it's not just going to be your typical survival. It's going to add different elements to it that allow you to level up, build bases, protect your bases. Don't have to worry too much about griefing. We have people on there to make sure that things stay intact. But that's where we're going, and I'm really excited. I'm emotional a bit for the end of the midweek hump, but this week we have a lot of great people coming back to just hang out with us for the night, and we'll probably go a little bit longer than usual. Again, it's been a long time, nearly 3 years of podcasting with these guys, and it's just coming to a close. But it's not goodbye at all. We're kind of shifting, and everyone's going to be concentrating on their own stuff, which is great. You know, we're all going to raise each other up and do big things. But I appreciate everyone coming on tonight. I appreciate the chat. You guys have been awesome. There's been a lot of great people. Thank you for the raid tonight, Moxie Dame. And just thank you everyone for hanging out. Real Wade Nation also rated us on Twitch and YouTube. Thank you so much for that, man. And anyone else got anything? You guys got anything coming up?
Oh, if you wanna hop over to my YouTube channel, which is at Arkasul, that's ARKASULE, you will see that I have a video essay, and it's based around what is canon for Lord of the Rings. So if you're a Lord of the Rings nerd, you'll get a lot of backstory on Tolkien, and then a backstory on Christopher, his son, and the ins and outs of everything canon, and what should be considered canon and what should not be considered canon. So,
yeah.
I want to check it out.
Do you have a link?
I can grab his channel link here.
Yeah, drop it in there before we go so you can see.
Appreciate it, fellas.
Now, what you do is you right click on this and you block it. Sorry.
Night Buddy and Copa.
I'll be streaming Destiny 2 on Twitch all the time.
Hell yeah.
You can follow me on YouTube as well. My YouTube's mostly for music. So if you want to hear some of my music, you can check it out on there. I'm at a step.
Yeah, and definitely check out his Twitch channel too. He's been grinding both with streaming and on Destiny 2.
Yeah. I'm actually maxed out on power levels now.
Damn, bro.
Yeah, 2020. And we're at 97 followers. The goal is 100 right now.
Go get this man to 100.
Almost there.
Three people. Get over there.
Yeah. Appreciate it.
All right, guys. Anyone else? Anyone else got anything?
Nope.
Okay.
I'm on YouTube just under my name, timhayes.com. I used to do videos where I show off my physical media collection. I plan on doing that again in the future, but I'm mainly just doing it. Do like blog videos of my collection of Star Wars toys.
Nice.
That's cool.
Very nice.
I plan on doing it again for my physical media collection as well.
Nice. Love to see.
Oh yeah. No, physical media is underrated nowadays, it seems.
Yeah, I still have CDs.
All right, well,
even though
thanks,
they're hard
Shags.
to come by now.
That was a
Hell
good
yeah, man.
conversation, man.
Yeah.
Tonight was fun, and I appreciate everyone for being here. We'll see
Appreciate you,
everyone
man.
Wednesday night. All right, guys.
You've been doing a great job, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, we out.
Peace out.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
I like to put stuff